Hey, how is everything with everybody? Hey, Kyle. Oh man, I feel tired. I feel tired and kind of bloated. We had pizza. Just went to McDonald's. What'd you get? Get some nuggets. Get a Big Mac. What'd you get? We got pizza from Little Caesars. Burgers and a frozen Sprite. What's a frozen Sprite? Been wanting to try that. The only time I go to McDonald's is for breakfast and every now and then again nuggets. Can't go wrong with nuggets. But Little Caesars, haven't had that in 9 years. Yeah, they've really they've upped their game as of late. Because we don't have the luxury of living in somewhere like a New York where we can get like pizza from like any random ass shop. Like we live in Texas, so pizza isn't like huge here. But like, for a while it was Pizza Hut. Then Pizza Hut started raising their prices, and then they started fucking up on their recipes. Little Caesars, as of late, has been up in their game. So, and we have a Little Caesars by the house, so that helps. Hey, I got the man here. Oh shit! I gotta ask Jeff if he's still gonna pop on.
Yo.
Hey man.
Yo, what's up?
Really tired. Today was kind of a lazy day. Just rested most of the day.
Did you work today?
Well, no, because I don't know if I told you, but so like I got a promotion at work.
Oh no, you didn't tell me.
Okay, yeah, I got a promotion at work and have a new work schedule. I'm not off weekends anymore. I'm off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Oh wow! Okay,
So
congratulations on the promotion for sure.
yeah, thanks, man. It's more money, more responsibilities.
Yeah, I know how that is.
So yeah, it's fun. But yeah, I'm off Tuesdays and Wednesdays now. So today was just kind of a lazy day, and I mean we're up all night watching horror movies, so that kind of put a spin on it. But
Yeah.
other than that, we're pretty good. But yeah, I actually like having Tuesdays and Wednesdays off because Wednesday, it's the show day also, but it's also the wife, she's also off on Wednesdays as well.
Oh,
So
there you go.
we
That should be the most important part too, as well. So
We get to have a day off together, and
yeah, that's cool.
Tuesdays are pretty chill. I mean, it's kind of like in the middle of the week, and also those are like the busiest days at work. So I'm off on like the busiest days at work, and towards the end of the week is when it starts to kind of die down. But what are you up to? How's life? How's the store? Tell me.
Life's good. No major updates in my life. But store's great. Just been staying busy with that, and same old, man. This past weekend was a good weekend at the shop. So, still getting new things as well. So still working on some new things to get new in the shop as well. But outside of that, man, it's been good. Can't complain, man.
Yeah, man, I'm really sorry I haven't been able to drop by at the store as of late.
Nah, man. Yeah, also you're off on Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays now, so you can come in when it's like less chaotic. That was like my slow day, so
Yeah, man, it's just one of those things of like every time I have a chance, something always pops up. Like there's always something in the way, but I will definitely try and be over more, especially on my new work schedule. But
I appreciate that.
But I think Jeff Lippman was gonna pop on. I'm not sure. I just messaged him, so if he does pop on, maybe it'll be for a little bit. But we got much to discuss. A lot has happened in the past week, just like everything usually happens in the past week of the world of professional wrestling. shows to review, pay-per-views to review, and people to talk about. So let's get this shit out of the way, and let's start the show in 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wednesday. It's already 9:05 p.m. on the dot Central Time, and welcome to The Experience. I'm Drew. You already know me. And with me, as always, is my podcasting partner in crime,
Dustin, Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com.
All right. And like I mentioned in the pre-show, we have much to discuss. It's been a pretty busy... It's been kind of a busy, and maybe the fair word to say is chaotic time in professional
chaotic,
wrestling.
Yeah, chaotic is the best word to put it.
Right, and just there's been a lot of yeah, I don't know if you call it highs. There's been a lot of lows in the past, I would say almost month of professional wrestling, and we're gonna
highs and lows depending on who you talk to. So,
I mean, highs as far as like the shows, and lows when you're talking about the things that have been happening outside of wrestling.
Right.
But we're gonna kick it off by talking about the big news of last week, which was I don't know if you would call it a shocker. It was a shocker because you weren't expecting it to happen so soon, but it's a shocker nonetheless. This happened on Saturday. There you go. Saturday. The news came out that Tony Khan has officially terminated Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, as we all know him. He put out a letter to the press. I remember Ruben. It's funny, Ruben broke the Bray Wyatt story to me, and then he broke this news to me. And CM Punk, or not CM Punk, but Tony Khan basically put out the letter that he had let go of, or no, not let go, but just terminated CM Punk, stemming off of...
You want to read the letter?
Hold on, let me find that letter. Do you have the letter?
I have the letter.
Okay.
I can read it for time purposes, but
if you have the letter, that's cool.
This is coming from the AEW Twitter. I think they put it on their Instagram too as well. But anyway, it says, stemming from All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan, All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW, which caused effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative of AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All In London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interest of the many people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television at arenas and stadiums throughout the world, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So... that happened. This stemming from all in at Wembley, the backstage calamity between CM Punk and Jack Perry. Where, long story short, we all know the news. Jack Perry. This stemmed from an incident where Perry wanted to use real glass in a segment. Tony Khan said no. The network didn't want to do it, so they decided to have CM Punk kind of be that, I guess, the mean voice of saying don't do it. And that ensued between an argument with Perry and Punk, and then, I don't know, maybe I would say a few weeks later, this is what happened in All In Wembley, where Jack Perry had a match with Hook on their YouTube 0 Hour, which was for the FTW title. And there was a bit where Jack Perry smacked the glass on a windshield, looked to the camera, and said, "It's real glass, cry me a river." End quote. After which, Perry, there's been multiple stories about what happened, but all in all, what took place was that Jack Perry instigated Punk, and then it ended with him and Punk having a fight, to which it sounded like Punk came out on top. More stories that came out was that Punk apparently lunged at Tony Khan, yelled at him. It wasn't really clear on what he said, but it was along the lines of Punk saying, fire me, I hate this place, blah, blah, blah. Punk was the first match of the night with him and Samoa Joe. It was said Samoa Joe kind of calmed everything down, or what do you call it? De-escalated the situation. There you go. There was a 6-day investigation, according to Khan or whoever said it, which comes to the news tonight, which ended with Punk getting fired, terminated. He is gone from AEW. He is relieved of his duties. This was announced Saturday, the day before the Chicago pay-per-view, All Out, and it ended with Tony Khan opening not opening the show, but coming out to address the fans and just talking about what happened. To which he was met with a lot of boos, a lot of cursing from the Chicago fans. And according to Tony Khan, he was in fear of his life. So,
he said this in particular. He said never in all the time I ever felt until Saturday that my security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show. He said, I don't think anyone should feel that way at work. I don't think the people I work with should feel that way. And I had to make a very difficult decision today. So that's what he said at the opening of a Collision.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the whole thing about him coming out and addressing the fans, I don't think that was needed. I know he did a pre-record where he talked about it. I thought that was probably his best course of action, because I think he knew damn well the people in Chicago were not going to take kindly to him getting rid of pretty much their biggest star. And, right. Not just in the company, but one of the biggest wrestlers to come out of Chicago. Maybe the biggest wrestler. So, not a smart move on his part. It really did make him look bad, especially him trying to say, hey, I'm from Illinois. It's like, yeah, sure you are. And then just to say my life was in danger, even though, there's a backstage picture of the match, or after the match with Samoa Joe and Punk, where they're taking pictures and smiling with referees. And I mean, whatever. But it is what it is.
I mean, to me, that doesn't mean nothing. I mean, because Tony Khan was with CM Punk. They had a closed door, had a face-to-face meeting, closed door. We don't know what happened. We can't say what happened or what happened back there.
Right.
Can't say.
Right.
Can't say, can't speculate. So, there is also video footage at Wembley as well. So,
I don't know
if that's going to come out, but
that could possibly break the story. So, but I don't know. I feel differently about this. I know you and me talked about it very passionately last week, where we both agreed on one thing, that Tony Khan needs to put his foot down and do something drastic. Which he did. You were kind of in favor of him firing Punk. I was in favor of him more so just, if you're going to fire Punk, you might as well fire Perry, because he instigated it. He knew exactly what he was doing. But he did announce that Perry has been suspended indefinitely. But again, I feel much differently about this than probably you would. Just the idea.
I'll be honest. I think you're probably one of the only few people in this realm, at least podcast realm, that's saying that Perry should be fired, or should have been fired too.
I think he should be fired, because to me it's just Punk. If you want to be black and white about it, he probably should have been fired. Because he's already had 2 instances like this. And
no, it's 1 instance.
Well, I mean the media scrum, Yeah, I mean, those two big instances. But to me, it's just like, cut your losses with Perry, because what is he going to do for you? Like,
So are you saying that Perry should be fired? Because I understand that, but like, what if it was a Darby Allin? Would you be calling for Darby Allin's job, or would you be calling for someone else? Let's say it was MJ. Well, MJ was probably a bad example because he's like the guy, one of the guys though. But would you be calling for someone else's job just because? Because I know that not Darby Allin. Jack Perry is obviously close to the elite, right? Uh-huh. And I know how you have your feelings about the elite. Mm-hmm. Are you saying that because of he isn't the association with the elite, and because you're not a big elite guy, and that's the reason why you want him gone? Or is it because of, because he made this mistake and, he instigated the situation to begin with?
I'm not even saying it more as his affiliation with the elite. I'm saying it like this. If it was like an MJ, not even an MJF, a Darby, for example. To me, if it's a Darby, suspend him. But if you're Tony, be like Darby, you should know better. Whereas a Jack Perry has already exposed himself as being someone who really isn't going to do anything for your company, and who really doesn't draw, who doesn't get a reaction, and who's just exposed himself for being kind of a pompous, arrogant dickhead.
I wholeheartedly disagree with you on that. Wholeheartedly disagree with you. Yeah. I mean, you could feel how you feel about him as a wrestler or whatnot, but like, or whatnot, but it's like you can't, again, and I'm mentioning this again, that is just that'll be super unfair because, again, the elite, right? The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they got suspended originally indefinitely. You know what I mean? For the first time as well. When they had a brawl out, they got suspended too as well. So, but back, I want to rewind this for a quick second. I want to rewind. We'll get back on Jack Perry in a second, but Tony Khan addressing in front of the audience in Chicago at first, guys. I told you through text message. I told you that maybe you should have waited till Monday.
Yeah, I agree.
After seeing what happened, I was like, you know what? I actually agree with this move because it just shows that in this situation. Because remember, what was the biggest criticism that we said about Tony Khan? One of the biggest criticisms is that he needs to be a boss. He needs to have some balls. He needs to actually show his authority. He did that on Saturday. For not only having the pre-tape recording message going out in front of the fans, even though he took a brunt of boos, there were some people in the crowd at the end that kind of like, okay, well, hey, I totally get it. I totally understand it, right? But he got booed out the fucking building for the most part. But that took balls. That took balls for him to go out there and do that. He didn't have to do that. That's showing his first, steps of being a boss. And that's one of the things that we criticize about him is not showing any authority. And on Saturday, I thought he showed authority. You know what I mean? Even though it was in front of the crowd, he got booed. Did he deserve that? I mean, maybe not. But if that wasn't in front of Chicago, if that was in front of North Carolina or Indiana or Texas or anything, the boos obviously wouldn't be as big, and the fans would probably be more accepting of it. But just because it happened to be in Chicago, and that's happened to be where CM Punk's from, that's the reaction that they got.
Again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the took balls part. I really don't think. I thought.
Okay, so I know you're not a huge fan of Tony Khan. What, like, when you look at it, like, it had to take some courage to go out there in front of that crowd, knowing the reaction that he's going to get. You don't think that took any type of balls whatsoever to do?
It does, but I think from Tony's part, it comes from him wanting sympathy.
No. Who said he wanted sympathy?
His comments about, I feared for my life.
Again, he was he had a one-on-one meeting with CM Punk through closed doors. We don't know what happened. We're not back there. We don't know what happened.
I just think he should have just stuck to the pre-record, and that's it. Because he got booed out the door.
Recording, he still said he feared for his life, and I think people still will have issues with that.
Right.
Regardless. So, like, at the end of the day, like, no matter what he does, this guy's going to get criticism regardless. no matter what he does, like, he's gonna get criticism. He's gonna get criticized. Like, he can't win even when he's down. You know what I mean? And I'm not the biggest Tony Khan fan, as you guys know, if you guys listen to this regularly. Like, I call it like it is, but again, I'm calling like it is for this situation. This guy was in this situation. He didn't have to go out there and do that. And again, at first I was thinking, like, maybe we should do this till Monday. But no, he didn't have to, but him with going out there doing a Saturday, I think that was a better decision, because those fans who were expecting CM Punk, or like, hey, is he going to be there, or what's that going to be? You know, he's went out there and it's like, you know what, fuck it. You know, I'm going to show my authority. I'm going to do it in front of Chicago. I already know I'm going to get shit for it. I'm just going to go out there and do it. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you don't have to agree on what he did, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that it just took a little bit of courage to do that.
All right, but that was on Saturday before Collision. Collision had the lowest rating, which was what, like 425?
Yeah, 89,000 people tuned out as soon as Khan finished his speech. So,
yeah, not a good look for that show. I mean, that show was already kind of in a dead spot. Now, I mean, because the show's...
Not to mention that, Sarah, I mean, if this didn't happen, I don't know if it'll be that low, but college football started last Saturday too, so...
Right, and then the NFL is about to start this week, so...
Yeah.
But 379,000, Jesus Christ. But, I mean, the show was already made for Punk, and what do you do with it now? I mean, because apparently Danielson, I think, is going to be the figurehead for Collision, and I love Danielson, but it's like, he ain't it. Like, he's not the guy that CM Punk was for this company. He was their the day of when they announced the termination, they announced that CM Punk was the highest merch seller in the company.
Right.
You know, he was their ratings draw. He was the reason you wanted to tune in, because he made the shows interesting. And now that Brian is gone, or not Brian, but Punk is gone, who is really going to run that gambit on Collision? Because you know you're going to have the Bucks fucking came out on Saturday. You're going to have the rest of the Elite come out on Saturday and try and put their hands all over it. So,
right.
I don't know. Just to me, this isn't a good look. You know, letting go of your biggest star. So, but, you know, it is what it is.
I'll say this. When did CM Punk came back originally? So, it was...
September 20.
Well, when? September... I know it's September 2021. I'm trying to get the exact date here. Was it the...
I know it was like a few weeks before All In.
Yeah, it was like few weeks before All In. Let me look it up real quick, because I want to kind of look up some, because CM Punk, yes, he was a draw as far as ticket sales and obviously merch, but the ratings themselves, I don't really think it really made too much of a difference. You know, like in the early part, it did, because I'm looking at October 16th, 2021. They were over 1 million the week before. They went down to 727,000. Mm-hmm. Then on October 23rd, 2021, they went down to 575,000. Now, I don't know if that was... Now, that 575,000, that may have been like on like a TBS or something off, because you know how they'll switch up. But Punk, I mean, for a while, he was helping with the ratings, but, you know, everything just went down overall, right? Not just with Punk, but... You know, with the things that happened with with Punk and the Elite, and, you know, Brawl Out, and that really hurt them as well. And, you know, ever since he's been back, he hasn't been on Dynamite. He's only been on Collision. I think was he on Dynamite one episode when he came back?
Yeah, it was the week after Collision. He just came out with FTR.
Right. I mean, outside of that, I mean, it hasn't really been too much of a difference. And again, Saturday night, that's going to be a tough string anyway, but. Honestly, I think Collision, at the end of the day, I think the ratings were going to dip regardless. I didn't think it was going to dip that much, obviously, but these ratings are going to dip regardless at the end of the day. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Dynamite tonight. I know there's a lot of people who are a little salty about Dynamite tonight. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I just don't think that CM Punk was as big as a overall draw for the ratings as much as you think or not you in particular, but people think he was.
Maybe not
because
for rating.
Before CM Punk came in, they were already doing, good numbers for the most part. They were already going. They already were over 1 million, 850,000 to 1 million for the most part. You know what I mean? With the exception of early 2020, that everyone took dips in ratings, but and let's see, in mid 2021, I was gonna put up around like in May. Oh, I'm sorry, in April 14th, they were over 1 million. April 21st, they were over 1 million. May 5th, they were over 1 million. May 13th, they were right under 1 million. So, and this was before CM Punk was even in the company. So when Punk came in, they were over 1 million too as well, but it wasn't that much of a difference for what they were doing earlier in the year. So
other news regarding the Punk thing. Pretty sure you saw this. There's a William Regal incident with Punk when he came back, or not came back, but when William Regal came to AEW. Supposedly, William Regal wanted to shake his hand, and Punk said, "No, you're just a stooge for Triple H." And that he didn't trust him. Regal and Triple H's friendship dates back to the 1990s when they both wrestled for WCW. And I mean, is he wrong though? Because when you look at it, when did William Regal debut in AEW?
I think it was Revolution, 2022.
So when was that? What date was that?
That was probably in May, like mid-May, I want to say.
And then literally 8 months later, he just tells Tony, "Hey, I want to leave. I want to go spend some more time with my son." And now he's already back in WWE. So do you think... Again, this is just, Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, they've made it clear that they don't like Punk. So they're just looking for any reason to just, bury more dirt on his grave. And in this case, it's just like, well, that doesn't really sound like anything scandalous. What's
that got to do with
exactly
report?
Exactly. Exactly. That's my point.
Okay.
No, my point is Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer are just looking for any reason to shit on him. But in this case, it's just like, well, you're kind of confirming something that's kind of true. That's unofficially true, but...
Well, are you talking about the William Regal?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the William Regal report came from Cassie Haynes at BodySlam.net. That report didn't have to do with Alvarez or Meltzer. There's some stuff on Alvarez and Meltzer that we could talk about in a minute, but this report came from Cassie Haynes.
Really?
So what you said was correct, but to me, I'm really trying to I really want to say I want to believe this story. But at the same time, we didn't get like any indication of this story whatsoever. No, like, hey, this kind of happened backstage or whatnot. And Cassie Haynes too, as well. I mean, he's not a Ross. He's not a Sean Ross Sapp. Like Sean Ross Sapp, for the most part, is very credible for the most part. Cassie Haynes, he's up and down because he did mention a couple months prior, hey, Bryan Danielson got signed with AEW, and sure enough, he came in at All Out 2021, showed up, right? Uh-huh. Then he also mentioned that I think he was one of the first ones to report, hey, WWE was sold to the Saudis when all that was going on. So he's kind of up and down on that, but I'm leaning towards believing the story than not. But I mean, my thing is, if the story is true, like, damn, man, like, how are you not gonna? Yeah, who doesn't like William Regal? Like, I don't know anybody in wrestling, exception of Punk now, if true, that doesn't like William Regal. It's like
probably Goldberg.
Whatever, but still.
But I gotta use the restroom real quick. Take over.
Yeah, sure. But one thing I do want to bring up real quick, that we haven't talked about yet, is that there was supposed to be a sit-down meeting between the Elite and CM Punk and Tony Khan. This is from Nick Hausman, but it says here that from Nick Hausman, a sit-down with members of the Elite CM Punk and Tony Khan was scheduled to take place last week ahead of AEW All In, but was called off at the last minute by the Elite's camp. It was going to take place in Atlanta, and it was intended to bury the hatchet between both sides ahead of the pay-per-view. The cancellation of it appears to have added to Punk's overall frustrations. And in addition to that, this is from Brian Alvarez now, that the meeting between the Elite and CM Punk being canceled was a semantic issue, depending on which side you talk to. There was a Collision Dynamite taping in Atlanta, so Tony Khan asked the Elite, we're all going to be in the same place at the same time, would you like to do this meeting or whatever? And they said no. So from their perspective, there was never a meeting planned that got canceled. From Punk's perspective, he believed he was on his way to the meeting, to a meeting which got canceled. So to me, you know, I don't know if the Elite did not want to take the meeting because because obviously legally I don't know what the situation is between the Elite and CM Punk, like the legal action from Brawl Out. However, I don't know if their lawyers are saying like, hey, don't meet with Punk. You know what I mean? Because if something else happens, you know, something else could blow up. So I don't know if the Elite or if it was on the side of like, hey, we don't want to meet with Punk to protect ourselves, or we don't want to meet with Punk because, you know, fuck Punk and we don't want to, you know, we don't want him at all. So I think it's a little bit of both, though. I think that lies in with a little bit of both, and that kind of falls in a little bit of both in that perspective. So, guys in the chat, let me know about your thoughts about this in the chat as well on these news stories that we are reading off today on the CM Punk being fired from All Elite Wrestling. So, is Drew back yet? No, Drew's not back yet. Okay, well, for the meantime, though, let's see. Let me see. See, Matt 420. What Alvarez is saying makes no sense. Either a meeting was scheduled or wasn't. I mean, yeah. I mean, I get you. You know what I mean? But, I mean, he really was just reading the accounts of both sides, so, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I agree, that doesn't make any sense, but, you know, I mean, but at the end of the day, though, I mean, even if the meeting were to occur, even if the meeting were to happen,
turn back.
Like, do you really think that this could have, you know, really buried the hatchet? I don't think so. So,
what were we talking about?
I was just reading about the meeting that was supposed to be scheduled between the Elite and CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. So I was just trying to get some of the chat's perspective there on that. So, yeah, I do have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but like, yeah, that was kind of my thing of just like, we were just kind of going back and forth. Like, how can you not want to make money? Like, it's like we both agreed. Kenny seemed like the logical one of like, hey, money. Whereas
Right.
the Bucks are like, you know, you pissed, you know, you said mean things about our friends, so no. It's like, but do you want to make money? So I don't fucking know.
What I was saying too as well is that let's just say, and I didn't go with this perspective yet, but I'm gonna kind of bring it to you. Let's just say that all the Elite wants to make money. Let's just say that's what they want to do. What could be holding it back is that their lawyers, because they're still in a legal dispute over Brawl Out, their lawyers could be possibly are telling them no. I'm not sure that's what it is. I honestly don't think that's it. I'm thinking that the Elite is saying like, no, we don't want to meet with Punk because we don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Fuck Punk. You know, he's unhinged, you know, this, that, and the other. Right? That's what I think. I think they just didn't want to meet with them because they don't want to work with them because of Punk's attitude. And, you know, the Elite probably just didn't want to do business with Punk anymore. You know what I mean? So,
which just shows the difference between, you know, how wrestling worked back in the day to now, where it's just like people take it personally, whereas Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels are like, I fucking hate that guy, but let's make money.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, man, these are all grown ass men. If for one reason or another, Punk, pushed them to a certain way, didn't want to work with them. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where I mentioned this. It doesn't matter if Punk wants to work with them or the Elite wants to work with them. Tony Khan has to put his foot down and be like, hey, you guys, like, not, do you guys want to meet with each other? No, we're going to meet with each other. You guys are going to talk it out. There's not going to be no funny shenanigans, no funny business. If anything happens, like, there will be repercussions on this and up to termination. So, but, it is what it is. The meeting didn't happen, and we're never going to see any dream matches in AEW with CM Punk and Kenny Omega, the Elite versus CMFTR, CM Punk versus Andrade, CM Punk versus Malachi Black, CM Punk versus Miro. Like, I could go on and on and on.
Danielson,
but Danielson, obviously, yeah, that's a huge one too. So it is what it is, but such is life. But just real quick, I do have some stuff from Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, and it's a lot, and we'll kind of talk about it at the end here. But this is coming from Dave Meltzer, and he said, throughout this whole ordeal, you, Brian Alvarez, and I were far too kind to him. I mean, that's the reality. We were far too kind to him. Always gave him the benefit of the doubt. Always try to give his side while everyone didn't want to hear. They want to go, oh, you're after him. Also, another quote. It says, I can't say because I can't get into his brain. But yes, there was a lot of people in AEW that thought that ever since that contract was signed with the Young Bucks and Heyman Adam Page and everything, that he wanted out and something was going to happen, which I mentioned last week. I'm thinking like, hey, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I was mentioning like, hey, like CM Punk, like, everything, like, ever since that contract was signed with the, with the Elite, CM Punk just was like, fuck it, I'm just going to start going in on him. Two more quotes here, and we can kind of talk about it here. So this is again coming from Alvarez and Meltzer. I know who were interviewed that were not there. This is talking about the incident between CM Punk and Jack Perry. He says, I know people who were interviewed that were not there, and it was about background, just the history, and things like that. They were asked how things were changed over the last year and what they thought the solution to the problems would be. A lot of questions not related to the actual incident, but to all other of the incidents and everything that happened over the past year. He got fired over what happened Sunday, but the lawyers and everyone else, they talked about a lot more than Sunday. They talked about everything, the stuff that's come out, lots of stuff that has not. So apparently there's still stuff out there, according to Meltzer. And last but not least, this quote here about the CM Punk confronting Tony Khan privately, apparently. It says lunging, but lunging was again far too kind. If you actually saw the wording of what was said, lunging was toning it down. It was more than lunging. So, I want to ask you this here. So we'll first start off. First off with this. CM Punk's timeline in AEW, and I'll just go through some of the things here that he did. So obviously Brawl Out, right? He and this is one thing that a lot of people are not mentioning as well. Remember that Instagram rant on Jon Moxley and the whole Rocky 3 thing, and kind of bringing that dirty laundry out when he was suspended. It was unnecessary to even bring out that. Came back, did the one Bill Phil promo, right? And with a bunch of counterfeit bucks. The Heyman Adam Page situation, being a peg warmer, and then you have the obviously the situation with Jack Perry at All In. So the question I want to ask you is that did CM Punk purposely got himself, not purposely, but purposely, indirectly, directly, however you want to look at it, but do you think he purposely got himself fired and he was kind of checked out with AEW after the all out situation last year, the brawl out?
I do think CM Punk has been kind of checked out because he just, I mean, it's easier for me to say he's been in kind of like I don't give a fuck mode because I think Punk has always been like an I don't give a fuck kind of guy. But like, I mean, when he first came in, Punk, was all smiles and I'm happy to be here. I like being here. It's better than WWE. Tony Khan is awesome. Blah blah blah. And then the all out media scrum happened, which I actually rewatched the other day, and it's just like Punk had that quote of like, I'm old, I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I work with fucking children. And I think for Punk, his whole thing is, this is how you need to run a wrestling company and not have the inmates run the asylum. And then going back to what you said, which is when the Elite ended up re-signing, I think that was kind of Punk's, I don't maybe the beginning of the end of Punk in AEW, but I think that's just when Punk saw the writing on the wall and went, this fucking place is never going to change. Like, this is never going to change. So you're letting the inmates run the asylum. So I don't know about purposely getting fired, but I just think Punk wasn't long for that company. Because, I mean, we obviously don't know Phil that well, but it's like we know the kind of guy he is based off of everything we've seen from him and people that know him and these incidents that we hear where once he doesn't give a fuck, he really doesn't give a fuck. And he was not long for this company. Again, wasn't expecting him to get fired, but I think at this point Punk is relieved to have been fired. And I mean, I forgot who was talking about, Jericho, who'd said, what a way to go out by being the first match on the biggest wrestling show for your company and then leaving with the title. Which, I mean, he's not literally leaving with the title, but he walks out of the arena with the title. So, the story of CM Punk in AEW, I think, is in some ways almost as tragic, but not, maybe even more tragic than his WWE run. Because it's weird, because in WWE, his whole thing is they didn't see me as the star I thought I was, and I had a very serious, medical issue where I could have died on their watch. Whereas in this one, it almost kind of reminds me of the plot of The Shining in some ways, where it's just like the reason why Stephen King didn't like the film adaptation was because in his book Jack Torrance was supposed to be more of a redeemable character, whereas in the movie Jack Nicholson was already crazy from the beginning of the movie. That's kind of like CM Punk in AEW. He was already crazy from the very beginning. He just needed that push. So, I don't know if that makes sense, but...
Right. So, here's my thing with all this here. I think that the signs that he wanted out, for me personally, was when he did that whole Jon Moxley rant. Just randomly. Like it was just out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And Moxley even said as well. He's like, I don't even want to get into this. And he didn't really say anything like detrimental in that interview with Renee. But I think that was, to me, that was the beginning of the end. And at the end of the day, like Punk, he again, the inmates running the asylum. He was one of the inmates too. And one of the things is that, and what I read earlier, that he had contracts. That Tony Khan terminated his contracts, plural, a performer's contract and an employee contract. So if he has two contracts, I think the speculation of him having control was probably just that. Why would he have multiple contracts?
Yeah, good point.
Why would you have multiple contracts? So, you know what I mean? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is with this. And it does leave a hole. It does leave a hole in AEW as far as a star power, but again, you got guys like Jon Moxley stepping up. You got guys like Bryan Danielson stepping up. You got guys like that stepping up. You know what I mean? Bryan Danielson wasn't supposed to fucking return. Broken arm, came back, had a fucking fantastic match against Ricky Starks at All Out. You know what I mean? And Moxley, he did win the international title, but that's, we predict that prior, but still, it's like now, he really has to actually be that guy again. You know what I mean? He was supposed to go on vacation. He was supposed to go on vacation last year before CM Punk decided to fuck off. And, Jon Moxley still hasn't had his vacation yet, which is humorous in a kind of sad way. But just real quick, so obviously, Punk's gone from AEW, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing a lot of people are talking about is that, oh my God, where's he gonna go next? You know what I mean? Where's he gonna go next? What is he gonna do next? So, Drew, I'll bring the question to you. Do you think CM Punk is done in pro wrestling? If not, where do you see him landing if he decides to go to another company?
I think realistically, I think he's done with wrestling, just in general. I also think what comes into play is just, again, rumors, sources, that AJ Lee apparently is going to go back to WWE. She just left WoW. So she's apparently going to be heading back, and I think
I didn't hear that. Did you? Who broke the story?
Well, Joe Numbers from Soup. He has his sources.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Okay.
But apparently AJ Lee is heading back to WWE, and maybe Punk might follow suit. Things that might come into play is not even last year. It was actually this year. This year has been going back quick and long. But
yeah,
when Punk, was at Raw, backstage at Raw, when he went on that plane to Chicago and talked with the stars and saw some faces he hadn't seen in years and saw some new faces and, actually mended fences with The Miz and talked to Triple H for just a little bit. Actually, he just only said, hey, can we go talk? And, Vince told him he had to leave because he was under contract. So could be it.
But before we sorry to interrupt, but before we get straight in all the way into that, I want to ask you two questions. It's the same question, but it's two different questions. So WWE, since we're on that subject right now, do you want CM Punk back in WWE? And the second question is, should CM Punk go back to WWE?
Me personally, as a fan, I would love to have him back in WWE because, it creates newer matchups. It creates maybe some, unresolved matchups. He if he came back, he'd be given that Brock Lesnar Edge schedule, which is funny to think about because he bitched about part-timers, when he left the company, and then if he comes back, I'm pretty sure he's going to want that part-time schedule because I don't think he can handle that WWE schedule.
Right. But just to piggyback off that, since we're on that, he said in the Colt Cabana podcast, that you kind of mentioned that, he hated part-time schedules. Do you think that CM Punk would be the biggest hypocrite ever if he comes back and decides to do a part-time schedule in WWE?
I know it sounds like I'm dancing around the question. I think it depends on how you look at it because there's going to be the people that are just looking for any reason to shit on Punk saying you're a hypocrite. But I also think
he would be a hypocrite.
Right, but I also, but at the end of the day, Punk's in his mid-40s?
Well, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying he would just be a hypocrite. Just the way he said. He shat on,
right.
Like when The Rock came back or whatnot. Now, if he comes back, if he decides to do a full-time schedule, hey, great. But again, he deserves a part-time schedule. He definitely deserves. I'm just saying, I just think he'll be a hypocrite if he ends up doing it. That's all.
I also think for Punk, he would, knowing him, he'd probably address him and be like, yeah, I look like a hypocrite, but, it's a good-ass schedule.
If he takes that and runs with it, be like, hey, I'm a hypocrite, hey,
I was wrong.
Yeah. That's all. That's all I need in water on the bridge for me personally. If he says that,
yeah, because even Punk addressed it. He did that interview with Mike Johnson at Starcast, where he's like, "Yeah, after I leave, that's when they decided to bring in indie guys. That's when they decided to bring in AJ and Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn and give everyone a part-time schedule." And he's like, "If I get hired back, the first thing I'm gonna do is just say, yeah, I'm gonna need a vacation." But your second,
the second question was just based off is should he come back to WWE?
I don't know. It's kind of a hard question to answer because it's just like I wouldn't be surprised if Punk just says I'm done with wrestling in general. But again, it's just different regime. He
wants to take it to Tony Khan, though. He wants.
I would not blame him. I also know he probably would, and also I think Triple H, that would just be kind of a feather in his cap of see, he came back. Yeah. I know how to treat my star. So I don't know, but should he? I think he probably would. Just like you said, he's going to want to stick it to Tony and the Bucks, and also again, just different regime. Triple H isn't the same guy he was 10 years ago. Vince kind of seems like he's less in charge. And I forgot who reported it, but they said if CM Punk were to go back to WWE, it'd be a Nick Khan decision, and because Vince is busy with other things.
I don't know if that was Sean Ross Sapp. I saw that report too. I just forgot who did that, but to me, I want to backtrack real quick to what happened on Collision on Saturday, just real quick with the Young Bucks. I don't know if you saw the footage of the Young Bucks running around in the ring and blow a victory lap. That's the issue right there. And I mean, like you're fucking. I mean, your EVP is about the same time you are performers as well. But we all knew what that little run was for and all that. So, not a good look. But anyway, to me. I think that would I want CM Punk back in WWE? Yes, only under one circumstance, that he is not. And I just said he is a hypocrite if he goes part-time. But I would like to see him on a part-time schedule because I don't want him to be overexposed. Put him on an Edge schedule, right? Put him on a Brock Lesnar schedule. Just have him come out, work big events, and if he wants to work, a Raw and SmackDown every now and then, certainly, hey, go for it, right? But we don't need CM Punk overexposure, and also as well, he gets injured like every match too now, so that's another thing. So, I think that'll be good. I would like for him to see him to come back. Now, question that I have for you is that if he comes back and let me read this real quick. This came from Sean Ross Sapp. Those close to CM Punk claimed that around December 2022, Punk was open to leaving AEW and even encouraged the idea so he could make a WWE return. Specifically, it was said that he wanted to appear at the Royal Rumble 2023. Also, as well, one of the rumored ideas that CM Punk had for a WWE return earlier this year made it so way back to some WWE talent. The idea was that CM Punk will return at the Royal Rumble 2023 and work a match at WrestleMania 39 versus who would have eliminated him from the Rumble. Word within WWE was that Kevin Owens was a name that was thrown around. So again, that came from Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select. So, I want to ask you, if CM Punk does end up coming back to WWE, who would you want him to, his first feud will be against, and, where his WrestleMania match should be, if he decides to come back?
Good question. Maurice saying, Cody's already going to be busy. First match, Probably, I mean, Seth would be interesting because I know Seth is kind of, you can't tell if it's kayfabe or real, you know, kind of shit talking Punk. You know, there's that thing he did, I think, for SummerSlam where he said, Phil, you're a cancer, go away, blah blah blah.
I think that, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he'll still do business with them. So
that could be one. I mean, him and the Judgment Day, him and Finn, I think him and Finn could match up well. I mean, him and Kevin Owens could be a really good feud. I mean, they kind of have a backstory. They're in Ring of Honor, and I'm pretty sure you heard this story about how Kevin Owens apparently had heat from CM Punk at a show one time.
Yep.
So, but I mean, it didn't really sound like it was like too much heat. For anyone that doesn't know, when I think this was around the time when Kevin Owens was starting to kind of like get some buzz. There was a point where Kevin Owens would wear a singlet because I think Dave Sapolsky and like a few other bookers wanted him to wear a singlet because they didn't like the fact that he was wearing a shirt. So, there was one show where I believe he was just wearing a singlet. Yeah, he was just wearing a singlet because like Sapolsky was like, could you wear the singlet, please? And Punk was there at the show for some reason. And when he came to the back, Kevin Owens, we all know he's kind of a very, well, not so much anymore, but he's always been a very robust human being. He comes back and he's very like, he's like sweating and he's like, breathing really hard. And he has a shirt in his hand and I don't know if he said this directly to Punk, but he's like, "Are you happy now?" Like, it made it sound like he was yelling, but he really wasn't, and Punk, got pissed off at him for it, and, apparently they're good. Like, he said it was just like, yeah, he got mad at him for just that one day, and he's fine, so, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that could be a good feud. Him and Sami Zayn can be a good match. Maybe him and Roman could be a good match, but, I don't know, I think Seth would probably be the better choice.
So I'll say this: I don't want to see any of those matches. Not for his first match back, and let's say his first match back is at WrestleMania.
Okay.
And also as well, I mean, he is, Survivor Series in Chicago too. So, but I'll bring up another point in a second. The match I want to see, and eventually I do want to see those matches, but not the first match back.
Mm-hmm.
Get him. Okay, I'll set it up here. Mania. Night 1 main event. Night 1 main event. CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
God damn, you're already cooking with fire.
CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold came back a couple years ago, had a surprisingly great match with Kevin Owens, great brawl. That right there, if they're looking to obviously sell tickets. They're going to sell tickets to Mania anyway. But to get every single dime that they can, that right there is gonna push the needle.
Especially in Philly.
That's going to push the needle right there. Punk and Austin. Doesn't even have to be a long match. It could be a 12-minute brawl. Cool. Wipe your hands clean, done. And, who will go over on that one? I mean, most likely maybe Punk, probably Punk, because that'll be his first match back. But I will love to see that. I will love to see that. Now, that's not really in WWE's forte to do something like that. Have someone's first match back in the company against a legend. That's not really WWE's forte. But if they really want to break the mold and really get a good buzz going, that's something that I would love to see. That's something that I would love to see for sure. So. But with Sam, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, like, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, because you were saying that, WWE's forte about making a match is, like, looking for some, like, convoluted reason why they need to wrestle. Like, Kevin Owens, his whole thing was, I hate Texas, and then that's when Steve Austin comes in. It, just kind of like old school way of thinking of just, like, the young guy calling out the legend and be like, I just want to know. Like, that could be the better way. Like, to me, I liked Undertaker and Triple H's match at Mania from 27?
Yeah.
In Atlanta, where it was just Taker coming out, and all of a sudden Triple H comes out. And there were no words spoken, and all they did was just look at the sign like, let's do it. I think that would be the better way of building up this match. I don't know how you feel, but, like, it would be like fucking awesome if it's just like, let's just say there was a Raw in like Texas, like Dallas or whatever, and like Steve Austin comes out to kind of close the show and, you know, say, you know, I'm gonna be at WrestleMania, I'm gonna raise some hell, I'm gonna stun some people and drink some beer, hell yeah. And, you know, that's when CM Punk's music comes out, and not a word, they just look at each other, the whole place goes nuts, and they look at the sign. And that's how you close out Raw. You build up night one, you know, the main event of night one. So
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good idea for sure. Yeah, very good idea. So I have another part here. So CM Punk was an immediate topic of discussion within WWE after his AEW firing, especially among top talents. There were some who adamantly against the idea and didn't believe it could happen, but others looked at it as a chance to make big money. One top-tier star was all for it, but it wouldn't be their call. PW Insider. And maybe that top talent is probably Cody. That's just me. I don't know. But I wanna bring this up. And no one, you know, probably not no one, but there's a few people that may bring it up in this community. So, CM Punk got fired from AEW, right? AEW, we don't know on the legal ramifications of him getting let go. Is he going to get all of his money, if he or not, or is it going to go to legal proceedings? That's why he fired him with cause. So I wanna bring this up. If CM Punk got fired, and let's say he takes a severance, does that mean that there is a no compete clause? Would there be a no compete clause? And from what I know, in New Japan, if someone were to get fired, similar to what happened with CM Punk, is like insubordination and fighting and all that stuff, the no compete clause is a year. I'm not saying that's what it is in AEW because I don't fucking know. I don't think a lot. I mean, I don't know, but I just know that in New Japan it's a year. When Neville, Pac was let go from WWE, and we didn't even know when he got let go from WWE officially. He was gone for what, a year before he showed up in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too now. I know that, you know, getting released due to budget cuts is a 90-day for WWE. If your contract ends, there's no compete clause because you complete your contract. You just go, you know, straight over to the company the next night if you want to. But we haven't really had much incidences where wrestlers got fired due to, you know, fighting their colleagues. So I'm wondering what this no compete will probably be. If there is a no compete, how long is it going to be for CM Punk? Because if it's a year or like 6 months, then, you know, we may want to possibly 6 months he'll still make it a WrestleMania. But if it's a year, that's, you know, that's gonna be kind of hard, a long time to wait on CM Punk. But I don't know if you have any thoughts about that or anything about that, about a potential no compete clause.
I mean, if it's a year, it's gonna suck because you know what's gonna happen. But again, I really can't speculate. I don't know how AEW handles their no compete clauses if they do.
For our first time actually experiencing it, because with the exception of, I want to say, Jimmy Havoc, no one else has gotten fired from AEW. Everyone's contract just ends and that's it.
Right.
So
again, I really don't know how they would handle that because they haven't really fired anyone, like you said, since Jimmy Havoc. Everyone else, they just allow their contracts to run up. So I really don't have an answer for this. I mean, we're hoping it's just like Punk can just leave and just go wherever he wants to go. I'm
wondering if he doesn't take, like, if I'm Punk, I would kind of negotiate, like, if I don't take the severance package, can I just show up immediately? Or let's say he has $2 million left on his contract. If I take half of that, can it be 6 months? like I would kind of be asking those questions like to his lawyers and shit to see what he can do.
I mean, I look at it like this, and I'm not really a business savvy person, but like, you know, WWE, like the merger with Endeavor, I don't know if it already happened or it's about to happen.
It's closing next week,
and you know, people are going to be making bank, and I think that's around the time when they can start hiring people. Let's say
they're letting people go. They're letting people go.
Well, that's kind of where the Punk thing comes into. So,
Yeah.
let's say Punk negotiates and says, "I'll take half of what I made," but in his mind, he's thinking WWE just offered me much, much more money than that. So I'm going to be making bank over there, and I'm going to be working a part-time schedule, and I'll get to just do A, B, C, and D. So that could be that. I mean, that could be a scenario right there for Punk. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Another scenario it can be too as well. Endeavor may not even pay for Punk. Fox may pay for Punk.
Well, also WWE and Fox are kind of like on the outs.
I mean, at the end of the day, I still think Fox and WWE are still going to have a partnership,
Right.
in my personal opinion.
Because of the UFC, right? Because of MMA, UFC.
Yeah, well, not even that, but just like I just think that because remember with the fucking what was that backstage WWE backstage with Punk and Paige on the show and Renee, like Fox want Punk on that show. So if WWE and Fox could work out a new deal and get Punk with it as well, like I think there could be smoke to that fire there that Fox can help out with some of that contract.
Right. I mean, you're not wrong. And also, Punk is in bed with UFC MMA. He does commentary for... What's the name of the company? It's like a...
No,
it's like some,
if it ain't Strikeforce, which I don't even know if that's still around.
anyone in the chat know the name of the place he's with? But I know it's in Florida, but... Yeah, I mean, that could be a scenario. Is that Punk, you know, is willing to take half and get paid more by WWE? Bellator? I think Maury's saying Bellator? Whatever.
Bellator?
I don't know. I know it's like some, like... Because, like, MMA has, like, indies, right? Kind of like how wrestling has indies.
Yeah, but Bellator's like the impact of MMA.
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, what I mean by that is like they're known. You know what I mean? They've been around for a while, so you know. But yeah, man, yeah. I don't have anything else on CM Punk.
I do.
I don't know if you have anything else you want to bring up or any closing thoughts.
Kevin Nash on his Click This podcast weighed in on the issues involving CM Punk in AEW. He says, "Honest to God, and this is in all seriousness, what I take from this whole thing is he needs serious help. He needs mental help. It's his mental health. No, it's not an attitude. When it becomes destructive, when there's a chance that this costs you millions of dollars and you just continue to push and push and push, it's not a work. Or it's not a work? Who's he working? Working himself out of the fucking door." Nash concluded that they have to let Punk go, which ultimately did happen after the podcast recorded. And yeah. So what do you think about Kevin Nash's comments?
He's not wrong.
All right.
He's not wrong. Punk, there is something. I'm not saying that he has like full mental issues, but he does have an anger issue.
I mean, not to get too personal with Punk, but you look at his personal life. You know, he talked about his family. He didn't have the best relationship with his like immediate family, and then he moved in with another family, and you know, talked about getting bullied at school, and then I don't know, but just the guy does have an anger issue.
I get it, but you know, again, when it comes to your money and you know you're about to be 50 years old, like you can't keep using that excuse from like 30 years ago to like, you know what I mean? So it's
He had to put a restraining order against his mom. Like that just.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? But you know, and I'm not CM Punk, so you know, I'm not in his body, I'm not in his brain. You know what I mean? So, as he's not in my body, he's not in my brain. You know, we all had issues growing up in some aspect. I'm pretty sure some people in the chat had some issues growing up as well, and we all handle it differently. Me in particular, like, I handle it differently from CM Punk. You know what I mean? So, but just kind of like with the Jon Moxley promo. I don't know. Remember the John? You probably don't, but maybe you do. The Jon Moxley promo when it was after the Dynamite. When I remember when Moxley and Punk were going for the title on the Dynamite, and Punk had the injury, and Moxley beat him in like 3 minutes, or whatever.
Vaguely.
You don't remember that going into All Out last year?
Well, I remember a promo. I'm just refresh my memory.
I'm talking about the match. I was talking about the match itself.
Oh, you mean like the squash?
Yeah, the squash. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the promo. That's what I was saying. You may not remember the promo. Long story short, Moxley was like, CM Punk has a fractured ego, fractured body, fractured mind, fractured spirit, which is kind of, now looking back, I was like, oh, he kind of has a point, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, just with the whole CM Punk, I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, he does have a fractured ego in some aspect, and fractured spirit, fractured mind, if you keep blowing up like this, so.
Yeah, everyone needs help. Your mental health is no joke. So yeah. Make sure to not just check on your friends, check on yourself, people. It's never too late to ask for help. It doesn't hurt to ask for help. Teddy Long, and this is a Tony Khan thing. Teddy Long was on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Time Machine show, where he talked about the CM Punk Perry incident and how AEW handled it. He says, I can't really speak on AEW, playa. He didn't really say playa, I'm just fucking around. Because I don't watch it. But here's what I can say about this. Jack Perry, I don't know the young man, never met him a day in my life. The only thing I can say about this, if he was in WWE, I think the leadership there is a lot better. Long feels that Perry would have been fired if he had been in WWE and had disobeyed the orders of the management. If he had been told by Vince McMahon to not use real glass, that wouldn't have ever happened. And if he disobeyed...
WWE doesn't use glass, period, though. A spot like that wouldn't even happen, so...
If he had disobeyed Vince's orders, that not to do something, just like you said, as soon as he walked through the curtain, he would have been fired. No suspension, none of that stuff. But I think that if he was in WWE, the leadership there would have certainly put him in his place, and he wouldn't have ever made a mistake like that. If somebody tells you don't do something, then you don't do it. So I don't think that just comes from the leadership in AEW. Tony Khan review. Okay, just tell us what we already know. So, thoughts on not Tony, but Teddy Long's comments.
He didn't say anything there. What did he say?
I mean, he kind of just said what I said.
Exactly. He didn't say nothing. Like, of course, like, oh, this wouldn't happen in WWE. If they say don't use glass, don't use glass. WWE doesn't do that shit in the first place. So what are you saying?
I guess his point is that in WWE this kind of shit wouldn't fly. I mean, again, we've already said it ad nauseum that Tony Khan is kind of to blame because there needs to be better management, and he needs to know how to be a better boss. So, and also another story, that we talked about in the past was when you asked me, how do you think Jack Perry would have handled being in WWE, and how do you think Wes Lee would have handled being in AEW? And I told you Wes Lee probably would have just been another wrestler on the roster. He would have just been another guy that knows how to do flips, whereas Jack Perry, I think, would have had a better attitude, and he probably would have learned how to be a better wrestler and have better matches. So, and this shit wouldn't fly in WWE. Triple A, the days of, hey, Shawn Michaels is a great wrestler, but he's a dick. Those are no longer that's no longer the question, because now it's like if you're a dick, we're not going to deal with that here. Either ship up or shape out.
So that's shape up or ship out. Yeah. I don't know what Tony. Oh, sorry, no, I don't know what Teddy Long said there. That obviously it wouldn't happen in WWE because WWE's run differently.
Professionally,
of course that wouldn't have happened. Of course there wouldn't be. Of course there would be no glass because WWE doesn't do spots like that. They don't use glass. What is he saying? He's not saying. He didn't say anything of like. Oh my God, that's a revelation. I didn't think about it like that. Like it's just.
I don't think it's so much. I don't think it's so much glass. I think it's just more just like if the boss tells you not to do something, then don't do it.
Right.
Don't decide to go for business for yourself or in for. How do you fucking say it? I can't fucking talk to it. Go into business for yourself, on live television, just because you think you can, because you have no respect for the boss.
Right.
So I think that's kind of, but yeah, I agree with you. He's not saying anything we already don't know.
Yeah.
So, but that's all the CM Punk news.
Yep.
I mean, do you want to
bring in our news topics because everything else isn't relevant this past week? So
I brought 2 news topics, and then we can talk about the shows if you're interested.
Yeah, sure.
So these news topics are actually very Nick Aldis related. They're not CM Punk related. So Nick Aldis admitted at the moment he's on a current handshake agreement with WWE. He said it's just like, they called me and said, hey, how would you feel about coming in and seeing how things operate on the production level and shadowing the producer. And I was like, that would be interesting. That would be fun to see how that works, and if nothing comes of it. He further shared WWE is willing to be patient with him and seeing if this is a good fit, or even if, again, I have to make this point, they also were very open with me about it and said, look, if you don't want to do it, like if you're not cool with this, like absolutely no hard feelings, like if you don't right now, the same for me or not, I'm not ready to do this yet. That's totally cool too. And there's another thing about Nick Aldis where he talks about WWE in general. Let's see. He said, again, I've done a lot. I've worn a lot of hats. So I certainly don't feel like it's a completely new sort of situation for me. Having said that, there's pro wrestling and then there's WWE. So, just taking in just the sheer sort of volume for the operation and just, the number of people involved in this, the scale of everything is like just that alone has been the basis of my time so far. And, yeah. So at the moment, it sounds like Nick Aldis isn't really on a contract. He's just there. I guess on the job training.
Agreement.
Call it. But give me 1 second. I need to look something up.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here we go. I found it. All right, so let's talk about the shows. So SmackDown happened on September the 1st of last Friday. We'll just kind of talk about the show as a whole. So John Cena is back. John Cena will be back regularly on television for, it looks like primarily SmackDown, maybe pay-per-views until October the 27th. More than likely due to the fact that the writer and the actor strike is going to be going on probably until the rest of the year. So Cena will be back for the company. I actually bought tickets for SmackDown on October the 20th. Nice. So Cena will be at that show. So Cena comes out just to talk to the fans, doing his usual shtick, and then Jimmy Uso comes out. Or I'm sorry, Jimmy Uso comes out to new theme music, which is interesting, and just calls out John Cena. Cena says, the wrong Uso quit. And then Jimmy Uso tries to super kick him, and then Cena AAs him. And that's what we got. The rest of the show, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. The heels won that match. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits warned WWE about their aspirations. How are you feeling about this new affiliation with Lashley and the Street Profits?
I like it. It's different from what they've been doing with the Hurt Business so far, but I definitely like it. I want to see where it goes and kind of see what their moves are. As of right now, they're still baby faces, which I was thinking this is probably going to be a heel group, but we'll see how this develops and see if they start having a little bit more of an edge and start having some heel tendencies.
I like it. I love Bobby Lashley. So and I like the Street Profits. I just it looks like they're slowly building towards them being heels. They don't just want to have them come out right off the game and be like, we're heels, we hate everybody. It's like you want to slowly build towards that. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. Zayn and Owens won. And before that, you had Jimmy Uso kind of causing havoc backstage. He interrupts Michin, Mia Yim, talking to Adam Pearce, and it's kind of disrespectful to her. And then AJ gets in his face and said, "What, don't talk to Mia like that." And then Solo gets involved for reasons. So the main event is Solo and AJ, which was a decent match, but Jimmy got involved, to which Solo won. And then they announced for this week on SmackDown it's going to be Jimmy and Jay, not Jimmy and Jay, Jimmy and AJ in the match. I'm assuming the main event. Do you think this is building up towards AJ going up against Roman?
I don't see it as of yet.
Okay. So that was SmackDown. Do you have any closing thoughts about SmackDown as a whole?
The boring show, with the exception of the beginning, the opening. I thought the opening was good, but boring show, as always.
Okay. So now we get to Payback, which was on Saturday. It was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the PPG Paints Arena. And there's only 6 matches on the show, which is an interesting change of pace. No pre-shows. First match of the night was the steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Holy shit, this match was fucking awesome. This match delivered, but it also over-delivered, which is a good thing. Because, you and me were in agreement. We were not really looking forward to this match. We didn't care. The build-up was piss poor, but the match delivered.
Yeah, well, yeah, I recall saying that the match, like, I wasn't looking for it because of the feud, and the feud is terrible and awful. I'm glad that's over. But I did mention that Becky in these types of matches, these situations, these brawls, these steel cage matches, that she will deliver. And she did deliver, one of her better matches this year. And to me, this is, I think this, if I really think this may be one of the best Trish matches ever.
Yeah, like Trish is nearing 50, and she fucking just went into her bag and just wrestled.
Saw the big ass knot and bruise on her head afterwards.
She was not afraid to get down and dirty. Those two went out there, and I'll admit the beginning of the match was a little slow, but then it started to pick up, and they just started to beat the fucking piss out of each other. And again, to your point, Becky, they call her Big Time Bex for a reason, because she can come out there and just pull out a classic. Like the match that they had at Night of Champions, again, piss poor booking, but the match ended up being really good. This, was one of their best matches, and I don't know, I might agree with you where this might be the best match that Trish has ever had. And I think with Trish, it's just like the one worry about Trish, working with the newer talent was like back in her day. She had decent talent. She had Victoria, she had Mickie James, she had Molly Holly, and I don't know if she worked a match against Gail Kim, but and Jazz, but the talent, the talent in this era is much better, and she's been able to work with them, especially Becky. Becky is one of the biggest stars in the company and one of the biggest stars in wrestling. And she was able to hang with Becky in the ring and not look lost. And, she's nearing 50, and she's out there, doing shit that we saw her do 20 years ago. Even better shit. So I really dug this match. This was the match of the night for me. It's definitely a match of the year candidate. Maybe not the match of the year, but match of the year candidate, depending on how you look at it. So, great match. Proud of both women. Afterwards, Zoe Stark turned on Trish, so I'm guessing we're getting a thing with Zoe and Trish, which at the end of the day, that's only going to benefit Zoe. But
I don't want to see that.
All right,
I don't want to see that.
All right,
but to me, this is definitely one of the best women's matches of the year. It's up there, definitely. I have to reevaluate and see all the other matches, but as of right now, it's definitely top 3, top 5. But yeah. It was really good. It was really, really good.
Speaking of John Cena came out as the host of Payback and announced that he will be the special referee for the next match, which was LA Knight versus The Miz. And LA Knight getting the win, of course. Pretty good match. Miz, I don't think anyone said the Miz can't work. Probably the longest match that we've seen LA Knight have on the main roster, and of course it's like his first big feud on the main roster, and it was a pretty good match. I can't complain. It did everything it needed to do for LA Knight. LA Knight getting the win, and also maybe teasing a feud with Cena afterwards, where Cena just wanted to shake his hand and said, we don't gotta like each other, but it's all about respect. And LA Knight shook his hand. What did you think about the match?
I don't know why John Cena was involved as special guest referee. It kind of not made the match as good, in my opinion.
Do you think Cena should have been the referee for the main event, or just not at all?
Oh, why does he need to do anything? He just there as the host. Just there as the host. He had the little playing backstage bit. I mean, and honestly, it would have been better for him if he was just there at ringside, maybe on commentary, and maybe indirectly help LA Knight win, something like that. But yeah, I don't think they should have been special guest referee. I didn't really think that it didn't really add to the match. It kind of took away from the match for me personally. But the match overall was okay. It wasn't great or anything like that. It was okay.
It did what it needed to do for LA Knight. And of course, LA Knight's over as fuck. Next, singles match for the United States Championship: Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory. I was kind of zoning.
I kind of felt the same about this match.
I was kind of zoning out. I think I was making dinner by the time this match was happening, and it's just, again, what else can we say about Rey? Rey is Rey. Rey can go out there and work. He's, for the past few years, he's kind of had like a fire lit under him. So you don't have to worry about Rey stinking up the joint. Austin Theory, something's missing with him. I don't really know how you feel about him, but to me, something's missing to where it's just like, I really don't care about anything that he does going forward, because
he's going to lose.
That, and also it's just like, okay, so Don Tony, much respect to Don Tony, he had probably the best analysis of Trish as a heel, which is, Trish as a heel just feels like an actress trying to be a bad girl. It doesn't seem like she's actually a heel. Like, it worked better when Trish was a heel back in like 2004, because back in the day you didn't even have social media as prominent as it is now. So when you have Trish trying to be a heel, you see her on Instagram, with her kids and doing yoga and shit. So it's just like, this doesn't really work. But with Austin Theory, I kind of feel the same way, to where it's just like, I see him on social media, doing like Make-A-Wish stuff with kids and stuff, and in reality, he's a big nerd. Like, he loves comic books and he loves like superhero movies like me, and he just seems like a good dude. So him as a heel just seems forced. It seems like he's almost like the bad neighbor kid in a Disney Channel movie. So I personally think team him up with Grayson Waller, and that's how you have him be a face. Because at the moment, I think the money is in him being a face.
Team him with Grayson Waller to make him a face. They're both heels. How's that going to work?
Because eventually he's going to get pissed off at Grayson Waller, and that's how you make him a face. In my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think all in all, I think Theory just needs a change of pace. I think him being a face would work. I don't know how. I think
him being a face will work. I just don't know about the whole Grayson Waller thing.
But this match was just, it was there. I'll just say it like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree about the match. It wasn't anything special for sure.
Next is the Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships between Judgment Day, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Again, another fucking fun match. The crowd really came alive for this match. Dom again, just being the show stealer in anything he's in. There was the spot with him and Kevin Owens, where Kevin Owens has a swanton off the top, and Dom's right there on the table. And then Dom just miraculously gets back into the ring to help Judgment Day win the match. There was a spot where Kevin Owens just like pops up, and all of a sudden he has blood on him. I don't know if maybe he bladed or he actually got hurt or?
Dom. It was a spot with Dom right before that, right before they went to go put on the hockey jerseys, and I think Dom kind of hit him kind of hard. So yeah.
But this was a fun match,
and that enhanced the match too. So I'm just glad that they didn't clear it immediately. They kind of showed this is things I appreciated. They showed the blood. They didn't take the camera off of him immediately, and they acknowledged it on commentary. That's all I'm asking for. If they clean up afterwards, I'm totally okay with that. I just need a little blood, not a lot of blood in that situation. So,
right, loved it. And again, everybody was involved. Jamie McDonough came out and got involved. Rhea fucking speared Kevin Owens through the barricade. She's a trooper. She was awesome in this. And in the end, Judgment Day won the titles, and now Judgment Day has all the gold. They are the winners. This is a fun match. This and the steel cage match go neck and neck for my match of the night. But what'd you think?
This is, to me, top 3 tag team match of the year.
Okay.
Period. Such a damn fun, chaotic match. Obviously, I think I may have this over the Usos and the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And their title reign, let's be honest, it wasn't good. The actual title reign at all. But one thing I can say is that the beginning of the reign was great when they won the titles, and the end of the reign was great when they lost the titles. So they have 2 potentially match of the year candidates, and also 2 tag team matches of the year. So I have both those matches in my top 3, and probably FTR versus Bullet Club Gold on Collision, the 2 out of 3 fall one. That may be my tag team match of the year when it's all said and done, possibly. But man, this match here was great. It was just fantastic, chaotic car crash, near falls, and you get yourself brand new tag team champions with the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest, and now Judgment Day has almost all the gold on Raw. So fun shit, loved it.
Fun shit.
And this kind of gives, and not a lot of people are talking about this. This just gives the Judgment Day a excuse to be on SmackDown now too. So
yeah, true.
There's that.
And now Judgment Day is the dominant faction in WWE. Now the Bloodline has kind of fallen. Next is you had the Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. Cody mainly just coming out to make an announcement that Jey Uso is on Raw. Jey Uso coming out to a remix version of the Down Since Day One-ish theme. And
I've been Jay since day one-ish. I've been Jay since day one-ish. I don't know if that's how it goes.
But... No, it's just me, Oos. Day one-ish. It's just me, Oos.
Jesus. Oh, I like it. It's just could have. I don't know.
It kind of seems like a spin-off of a sitcom about a character where they take the exact theme, but they just add the lyrics of that character.
Of that theme.
Right.
It sounds like a parody of the theme that we all know and love. It's still a banger, you know what I mean? But it's like,
I mean, they still could have kept the Down Since Day One-ish theme, because you could have just made the excuse of we're just talking about Jay, and then just have Jay do the lyrics.
Yeah, they could have kept the same chorus, but just change up the the actual lyrics. So
or just give them new theme music in general.
No, you can't change that. Yeah, right. You gotta. That's a banger. That Usos theme is gonna go down as one of the best themes ever. So
right, you're right. Next is you had the Women's World Championship match: Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Probably my least favorite match of the night. Is just, I don't know, these two had good matches in NXT, and then I know it's I'm comparing apples to oranges, but it's just this match just was not good. And I don't know if maybe this was on Raquel or maybe Rhea or both, but this match was just not working. And there was a lot of sloppiness in this match, and it sucks because both women are very good. I'm assuming there's going to be a rematch at was it Fastlane this next month? So, yeah. But this match just didn't work. But what'd you think?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I'm not as down on it as you. I'm not saying it was a good match either. Don't get me wrong. I didn't think I probably put this side by side with the LA Knight Miz match as the worst match of the night. It was to me like a D minus, barely passing. It's a 70, and that actually, you know what? It's a 67 plus 3 for extra credit. Like that's what it was. I just don't like I don't like similar styles going up against each other. This is the worst combination you can have. Two powerhouses going up against each other. At least for the women. Men it can work. Women is kind of hard for me to get invested in. So, but
right.
Yeah.
And now we're on to the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This was the longest match of the night, 26 minutes and 5 seconds. I was actually, I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to doze off a little bit. I still remember the match. This is a good match. I really can't complain. I didn't think it was terrible. My only complaint is I thought it was maybe a little too long. I thought maybe you could have shaved off 8 minutes and it would have been fine. My whole thing about the match is they finally made Shinsuke interesting again, or maybe more interesting than he's been on the main roster, and then they just have him lose clean as a sheet. And I want to get your perspective on the ending, because I remember RJ pointed this out, thought it was interesting. The ending seemed very abrupt. Like, I don't know how you feel about the ending or just the match as a whole.
It didn't have that climax. It didn't have that climax that it should. It felt like when AJ and Shinsuke, including Shinsuke again, at WrestleMania, where the match was kind of just ended out of nowhere. Ish. Kind of had that. It felt like it was going fine. It plateaued, then just ended immediately. And I was like, I don't know, like that. But I'm not. A lot of people were down on this match, and I'm not as down on this match as everyone else. I didn't think it was like a match of the fucking year or anything like that, but I thought it was a very good, solid main event. I thought the time length was fine on it. Again, at the end of the day, everyone has their personal preferences when it comes to time length in matches. But to me, 20, I went like 25 minutes one night. I thought
26.
26 minutes. I thought that was totally fine at the end of the day for the story that they were telling. Maybe it could have been a little bit faster in the middle, but to me, it didn't feel like a 26-minute match. To me, it didn't feel like 26 minutes. It felt more like a 20-minute match. But they were trying, and they were telling a story too as well. Not a lot of people were giving that credit to as well. They were telling a story with Seth's back, and Shinsuke, offense based around Seth's back. So, usually with matches like that, they tend to go a little bit longer, but. Seth won, and looks like this feud is going to continue in some fashion, and we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah.
And afterwards, this is like after the show ended, where they showed Nakamura attacking Seth. So I guess it's going to continue. I'm assuming there's going to be a rematch at Fastlane. So we'll see. But that was
We'll see on how that goes, and. I don't know exactly on how they're gonna, pursue this going forward. But yeah, they'll continue.
But overall, what'd you think about the show? Letter grade, number grade? What do you think?
So again, this match going into it, I didn't care, or not match. This pay-per-view, I didn't really care. It was bad. It was bad build for the most part. It was surprisingly enjoyable. But at the end, I'm still gonna give about a 6.5 out of 10. Not say it's not a bad show, but it's barely passable for me though. Again, but I'm still pleasantly surprised because you had a great opener. Match of the year candidate for the women, match of the year candidate for the for the tag team match, and you had a solid-ish main event. And everything else was on the show was kind of like meh, so 6.5 out of 10.
All right. I probably roughly around the same. I'll probably give it maybe like a 6.5, 7 in that area. So it was a show that ended up being a lot better than I thought it'd be. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. But I have the producers here for each match. So for the cage match between Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, Petey Williams.
Yep.
Shane Helms produced LA Knight and The Miz. Adam Pearce produced the U.S. Championship match with Rey Mysterio and Austin Theory. Tag Team Championships. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Judgment Day. That was produced by Michael Hayes, which doesn't shock me because Michael Hayes usually likes to do a lot of those matches. Sean Daivari produced the Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. Jason Jordan produced Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. And for the main event, World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins and Nakamura. That was produced by Jamie Noble. So, those are the producers. So, now we're going to get to All Out, which was Sunday in Chicago, Illinois. I didn't watch it live, but I caught the replay on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So, I did watch it. So, just so we can have this to talk about. Chicago, it was in Chicago, Illinois, United Center, September 3rd. And let's see, let me pull up the matches real quick. I skipped the pre-show, so I didn't watch the pre-show matches. I just watched the regular matches, but
I didn't really miss a ton on the pre-show.
But Hangman Page won a charity battle royal. 6 women tag
$50,000
for $50,000. 6-woman tag match. Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue defeated Athena, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante with Billy Starks. And then the final pre-match, you had the Acclaimed defending the AEW Trios Championship. Anthony Bowens and Max Caster and Billy Gunn with Dennis Rodman defeated Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Jay Lethal with Sanjay Dutt and Karen Jarrett. So, any overall thoughts about those pre-show matches?
I mean, they were really nothing at the end of the day. Just one note, I just find it funny that Hangman won the Battle Royal and he was going to give like $50,000 to charity to like Chicago schools or whatnot. That was the only way that Tony Khan could have got Hangman cheered in Chicago. So, I just found that kind of funny.
I don't know, but give me 1 second. I'm just looking something up. Okay, never mind. Found it. Okay. All right, so the first match on the show was for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Better Than You, Bebe, Adam Cole, and MJF versus the Dark Order. Alex Reynolds and John Silver with Evil Uno.
I mean, again, did not care about this match, obviously. The Dark Order, just random, right? You got MJF, who's a world champion, not even he's not even defending his title, on your quote-unquote biggest show in Chicago. So this match on paper looked like a match on paper. It wasn't gonna be a bad match, which it was. It was a very fucking good match. Like, John Silver's fucking tastic. I don't think he's very underrated in my opinion. It's just the build into it was nothing. So, but yeah, no, I love the story that they told with MJF and with his whole injury with his neck, and they're playing that pretty well. They're continuing that tonight on Dynamite. But with Adam Cole having to fight the Dark Order for a while by himself and MJF making the triumphant return, love the story that was told in this match. Really liked it. Great match overall. Like I said, Alex Reynolds, but especially John Silver, very underrated. But obviously, we knew that, Adam Cole and MJF was going to win. Like, there was going to be no doubt about that. But if I was Tony Khan, I definitely would have done. I definitely would have done the Kingdom versus Better Than You, Baby. But maybe they're saving that for another time. We'll have to see.
I did not care about this match whatsoever, and it's just, again, the Dark Order are getting a tag team title shot, so there was really no high stakes. There was really none of that feeling of could they win? It's no, you knew fucking MJF and Adam Cole were going to win. And also, why is your world champion opening the show? why is he not main eventing the show? So, I don't know. That's just me.
WWE used to have world champions opening the show.
Yeah, and I fucking hated that too.
I'm just pointing it out there.
I know, and I'm saying I hated that. I hate that too. Your world champion should not be opening the show.
No, I agree.
Especially AEW's world champion.
You didn't like the match whatsoever. You didn't like the story that was told with MJF in the match, and
I didn't care. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna be crabby. I didn't care. And then afterwards, as they're leaving, whatchamacallit, Samoa Joe comes out and shoves MJF, a la NXT TakeOver from 2016.
Yeah, like TakeOver Brooklyn.
Yeah, he shoves.
So that would have been 20. Yeah, it would have been 20. Yeah, it would have been 20. Wherever the main event with so it was Samoa Joe and Nakamura, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been 2017 then.
All right. And then afterwards, MJF comes in to attack Samoa Joe, and security has to hold him back. And that plays into what happened tonight on Dynamite, which we'll get into later. Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. This was fine. It was fine. It was serviceable. I'm not familiar with Shane Taylor personally. I mean, obviously know the name. I know what he looks like, but
I mean, he wrestles here in San Antonio all the time too. So
right, this was a really short match. Surprisingly, probably could have been better if maybe he had a few more minutes, but it was a serviceable match. It was fine. It was fine for what it was.
It was a fine match. Shane Taylor, with the time that was given, he looked good in there. Samoa Joe, I want Shane Taylor to win just because I want the world television title off of Samoa Joe, but. Samoa Joe winning was predictable, so yeah. Right. Serviceable match, though.
TNT Championship, Luchasaurus and Christian Cage versus Darby Allin. Lucha getting the win afterwards. Christian Cage does a concerto to Darby Allin while Nick Wayne watches. Again, just I'm going to sound like the curmudgeon. A fine match. It was fine. It happened. So, whatever. What about you?
Just a little bit more than fine to me. I thought it was good overall. Knew Luchasaurus was going to win, though. But, I think the bigger story is that I think Nick Wayne is probably going to eventually turn on Darby sooner rather than later. We'll see, though. And maybe joins Christian and Luchasaurus. That'll be good for Nick Wayne to get a little bit more, because he's a good in-ring wrestler. So young, right? Like super young, 18 years old. But I think the biggest thing for him right now is to develop a character. I think being with Christian can help that for sure.
Right. And then flash forward to at the scrum, Christian comes out and someone asked him the question about, Adam Copeland, Edge, possibly coming to AEW. Christian just said, I only talk about myself and Luchasaurus. I have no other friends outside of me and Luchasaurus, so I'll just keep it at that. End quote. Next is you had Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs in a singles match. This was really fucking good. This was surprisingly good.
The crowd made it really good.
What was the saying? Meat? We want meat?
Yeah, just everything, like meat forever. Meat, just look literally anything with meat chance. Like it was there. Like yeah, man. I think Booker T needs to be owed some royalties on that, because I think he started the whole meat craze when he's like, no bread,
no water, just meat. I love it.
But this is a very good match between these two here, and Miro won as expected, but Powerhouse Hobbs, he put up a great effort in this match as well. Very, very good, very good, very good. I mean, because like in the back half of this card, like you have like fucking four banger matches. So, but I may end up playing this as number 5. Or no, probably number 4. Probably number 4 is probably the best match on the show. So, which is not a bad thing, because it was still a damn fun match.
Yeah, and then afterwards, CJ Perry, Lana made her debut in AEW, and her and I was gonna say Rusev, her and Miro are still having marital problems, I guess, because Meryl just told her to fuck off. Which, I guess, I don't know. I don't know how you felt about that segment.
I didn't like that because we all know that they're just gonna go on Instagram and we're at dinner or whatever. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that whatsoever. Unless she starts to go on Instagram and they go on each other's Instagrams and they're like, he hasn't talked to me in 5 days or whatever. Okay, then if they play into that on social media, I'm fine. So, but one thing I will say, at least Rusev Miro has direction now, because before he didn't.
All right. Next is you have the TBS Championship, Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. It was a match. It happened. I know during it, Tony Storm kind of inadvertently cost Ruby the match, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Let me ask you this: why is Tony Storm all of a sudden a 1950s Hollywood actress?
It is amazing. I love it. I fucking love it. It's just it's different for her. She doesn't, like, before she didn't have a character or anything of that nature. It was just like, hey, I'm Put Rocket Tony Storm. Hey, I love Motley Crue, whatever, right? But she never really had a character, and now it's like, and now it's like, she's thinking that she's fucking Faye Dunaway or someone, or fucking Joan Crawford, and it's like, oh, I don't remember that performance. Oh, I have so many performances, and my next performance is different. I like it. I mean, it's kind of goofy. It's pro wrestling. I don't like it. It's more goofy than what else you see in AEW. If this is in WWE, I think more people will be more to like it because WWE does goofy shit like this. So, but the fact that she's trying out this new character and is getting over, I have no issues with it.
Well, I don't hate it. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying.
Oh, I didn't say you did.
When did it happen? Like, did it happen like organically, or when did it start?
It happened over the past few weeks. It started happening when she lost the title.
Right. I don't know, but I just know it started with her having just these kind of old school looking hairstyles, and she would come in the back drinking tea. So, I mean, hey, it's a character, and everyone needs a character to get over. But still there?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, this match it was fine for what it was. I mean. Was it Chris Statlander came out? Chris Statlander came out dressed as Derek Zoolander, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, this match happened. So I guess there's dissension in the was it the Runaways? What do they call them? The Runaways, the Misfits?
Also Outcasts.
Outcasts. There you go. Between Paige and Tony. So we'll see how that goes. But next is you had Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks in a no disqualification strap match. Bryan Danielson coming out to Final Countdown by Europe. So that was pretty fucking cool. Beginning of the match, Ricky Starks was just beating the ever-living dog shit out of fucking Bryan Danielson. And, Danielson, having color. Which, it's one of those things of, as a fan, and what Danielson's been through, you kind of cringe a little bit because you're like, oh god, please don't hurt him. Please don't legit hurt him. We want Bryan Danielson to wrestle as long as he can, but as expected, this was a great match. And Ricky Starks looks like a star after this. And you want Ricky Starks to be the star that you know he can be. And hopefully they push him. It's one of those things of hopefully it's not just like, hey, he looks like a star, and hey, he's going to be feuding with fill in the blank of someone who's not really a star. So this is a great match. Danielson is great in everything. He makes everybody better around him. This was kind of, you're probably going to call me crazy, but this kind of had that feeling of Austin and Brett from WrestleMania 13.
No, that's not crazy at all. Definitely not crazy at all.
It's like an old school 1970s, Memphis wrestling match.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was actually going to bring that up. So, yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I thought this match, Yeah, I thought this match was unbelievable. Thought this match was unbelievable. Yeah. I definitely see Meltzer possibly maybe giving this one a 5-star match for sure.
Oh, he fucking better.
Yeah, it was so fucking good, so good.
Like, how can he not? But he'll find a reason to.
Well, it happened in Chicago, so that that automatically gives it 5 stars right there.
Yeah, but none of his boyfriends are in it, so you know Meltzer. Next match, tag team match: Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta versus Eddie Kingston and Shibata. What'd you think?
This match wasn't anything great. I just wish Shibata was younger, man. Like he can still go, but like it's not the same Shibata, man. It's not the same Shibata before he got injured and nearly lost his life. But has that iconic pose with blood raining down his face. Like, oh man, such an iconic wrestling moment. But with the Claudio winning, all this is going to lead is to Eddie Kingston beating Claudio at Grand Slam, because AEW just wants to, just like WWE, they just want to make random moments. And the moment for Eddie Kingston and Claudio, that one-on-one match is going to be at Grand Slam, and Eddie's going to win the ROH title. So it kind of makes sense that they won here. So
yeah, again, just I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling most of the show. I mean, the good matches were good. The matches I thought were good. The rest of this match just felt like an ROH card, like a random ROH card.
Yeah, but I think this show over-delivered as far as execution. Like, yeah. I get it, but like at the same time, like, to me, for the most part, I think there was maybe like 1 or 2 matches where I was like, I don't know if I can really do with that. Yeah, I could do without it, but Takeshita and Omega, fantastic, and I thought obviously Danielson and Ricky Starks had no story whatsoever into it, whatsoever. Ended up being one of the matches of the year. You know what I mean? So
I mean, yeah, just again, how I feel about things isn't going to justify how other people feel about things, because everybody else, on was it Sunday was popping. They were like, this event's actually really good, and it's just like I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it was fine. Like, again, it's just it didn't really work for me the way it worked for other people. But hey, if other people loved it, awesome. And then you just brought it up, not Nakamura, Jesus Christ, Takeshita versus Kenny Omega.
Wrong Japanese guy, Drew. Jeez.
Ugh, oh my God. Takeshita versus Kenny Omega.
Takeshita and Omega. Yeah, Takeshita won via pinfall here. I'm starting to understand the story with Kenny Omega and and Don Callis. Kenny Omega's story right now is that he cannot win big time one-on-one matches without Don Callis.
Okay.
And that's the story that they're probably going to end up telling for Kenny Omega for a while, until something culminates with that. Whether if it's I don't know if it's going to be for like the AEW Championship or whatever, but I'm liking it. And it's different, and it's showing that it may be showing a different side of Kenny Omega, to where that he doesn't need to win every single fucking match. He needs to be broken down, and maybe we'll start seeing something different from Kenny Omega as far as not promo ability, but just like his character work, and kind of see where that goes. But as far as this match is concerned, great fucking match. I mean, just fantastic. 2 great pro wrestlers in the ring, just beating the shit out of each other in this match. Just counters and V-triggers and knees and, great selling and all that stuff. 30 minutes now. I know we were just talking about Seth and Nakamura. That didn't feel like 26 minutes to me. This did feel like 30 minutes to me. Not a bad thing. This just felt longer, but it doesn't take away from the match itself. So, but I thought to me, I thought this was probably my match of the night. If I give it, I think this is probably my match of the night. But I mean, if you pick this match or the main event or Ricky Starks and Danielson, it's kind of like picking, it's like nitpicking at that point. So, but yeah, great match.
I didn't love this match as much as you did, but I'd be a dummy if I didn't say this was at least a good match. It was a good match. I mean, again, Kenny, I'm back and forth on him. I think a lot of his better matches have been against people that, in my opinion, are better than him. The match he had with Danielson a while ago, those Okada matches. This match in particular, I think him and Takeshita are kind of evenly matched. I think Takeshita might be a little bit better, but that's just my opinion. But I mean, it was a good match. Can't really complain. Again, it felt long. But then against AEW, this is for a different wrestling audience that prefers long matches. So it is what it is. So it was a fine match. I think it's interesting that you brought up the whole Kenny thing about he can't win a match without Don Callis. So that makes him a little bit more interesting than just him being, I'm Kenny Omega, I'm a great wrestler, and blah, blah, blah. Like, this gives him more layers. We were just talking about Toni Storm having a character. I mean, I know that's kind of different than what's going on with Kenny, but, like, she has a character. Now Kenny has a character. Now he has a story. So, I mean, this is a good match. I'm not gonna say it was fine. It was good. It was a good match. It was enjoyable in some parts. It's just the whole knee strikes thing. I'm just like, one of these days these guys are gonna blow out their fucking knees by doing all these knee strikes. Like that worries me as a fan, and also a human being. That worries me. But this is a good match. I can't really complain too much on the fact that I thought it was too long. But that's just me. Next, 8-man tag, Bullet Club Gold, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Jay White, and Juice Robinson. Rock Hard, Juice Robinson. Rock Hard. Versus FTR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and the Young Bucks.
Just by the way, Juice Robinson gives me life, man. He's fucking insane. I love it, though. But, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a bad match. I thought the match was good overall, but that was just it good. I expected more in a match like this. I think what I'm really thinking, I'm thinking that these four guys, especially probably the Young Bucks and FTR and Jay White and Juice Robinson, all fucking tired because they had to, wrestle at fucking All In, and I think they wrestled on fucking the following Dynamite. A group of these guys wrestle on Falling Dynamite, then he wrestle again at All Out. It's like, yeah, damn, man. So it just felt like this match was put together. And I don't understand why FTR and the Young Bucks are tagging with each other when FTR just beat the Young Bucks. Shouldn't the Young Bucks not, want to be friendly with FTR? But, whatever. We already talked about the build so many times already. It doesn't matter at this point. But, the match ended up being good. I mean, you can't really have a bad match with this type of talent in here. But, it wasn't anything. I'm not going to remember this, by next weekend. I'm not going to remember this match, so.
Yeah, it was a match. Like, it was one of those matches that you're just like, okay, these guys should have a good match. It's almost like it's like if you're a dad and you have a son and you're like, yeah, I know you got good grades in school. You should be getting good grades. That's how this match felt. Like, again, I fucking hate the Young Bucks. I really don't care about the Young Bucks. They've had, to me, any match I've seen them in, they always have the same match, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, the rest of the talent in the ring, you're expecting them to be good. So, but it was a match that could have been like the main event of Collision. So
yeah, exactly.
It was what it was. Main event. You had the International Championship, Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy.
You want to go first on this one?
I didn't watch the match.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Again, I don't like Orange Cassidy and I don't like Jon Moxley, so just you put them both together. Yeah, I didn't watch the match, guys. Sorry. So take it over.
Yeah, well, I'll just make it short then. Great fucking match. Love the story that was told in the match itself. Orange Cassidy went out defiant, and Jon Moxley won as predicted.
Okay. So over and under, how would you rate the pay-per-view?
I'll probably give it. I don't think it was better than All In. I thought All In was a better show. So I'll probably give it maybe because I gave All In a 7, I want to say, or 7.5 if I remember. I'll probably give this one maybe like a 6.5, maybe 6.75, but that's probably more in between a 6.5 and a 7. So, yeah. But again, it over-delivered expectations, though. Kind of the same thing with Payback. It over-delivered expectations. Thought this was probably going to be one of the worst AEW pay-per-views ever, and it didn't. And it wasn't that. It wasn't that. You know what I mean? You had a lot of great wrestling matches in here, and a lot of great stories told. Especially the main event. The main event told a great story at the end there, and Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson told a great story. The story of Kenny Omega, needing Don Callis to possibly to win. So, yeah.
Again, to me it felt like just a Ring of Honor card. I mean, it wasn't terrible. The good stuff was good. The stuff that I didn't care for was, the bad, obviously. So I would, maybe just based off of the Danielson match, I'll probably give it a C. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Savage Elite. You shouldn't be surprised because I didn't really want to watch that match. So, sorry. I have Meltzer ratings for All In. I don't know if you saw them.
Sure. No, yeah, I saw them, but yeah, we can talk about it.
So 0 Hour. MJF and Adam Cole defeated Aussie Open. That got a 2.34. Or no, 2 and 3 4. Hook versus Jack Perry. That got 3 1/4. Wow. Main show, CM Punk got a 3.5. Takeshita, Juice Robinson, and Jay White versus Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Kota Ibushi got 4.5. FTR and the Young Bucks got 4 3/4. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and Penta and the Best Friends versus Blackpool Combat Club, Santana Ortiz got 3.5. Saraya, Shida, Tony Storm, and Britt Baker got 2 3/4. Sting and Darby Allin against Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland got 3 1/4. Will Ospreay and Jericho got 4 3/4. The Acclaimed and House of Black got 2.5. That's fucking low. That at best that was maybe like 3.5 or maybe 4. MJ, what was that?
For what match?
Acclaimed and House of Black. Oh, that was a better match than 2.5, but whatever. And MJF and Adam Cole got 4.5. So, do you agree?
No 5-star.
Do you agree on any of these ratings?
Yeah, seems about spot on for the most part. Yeah. Probably maybe rate I would probably rate a little bit higher for the trios tag match a little bit. I mean, not like super high, at least 3 stars for sure.
All right. Now we're on to Raw. The big main event was Gunther versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. The story going around it was Gunther was close to breaking Honky Tonk Man's record. I believe he breaks it on. I believe the official day is either. I think it's tomorrow or Friday, but
something like that.
But again, this match delivered. It was a great match at main event of the show. Chad Gable was on the main event of Raw. This was in Charlotte, North Carolina, so you knew the people were loving this match, and this is awesome. This is a nice way to end their trilogy. A lot of good back and forth action, and wasn't really any fuckery. I mean, the whole point of the match was Chad Gable couldn't overcome Gunther because Gunther too big, too damn big to take him down. Gunther ended up getting the win by, was it doing a power bomb and a lariat? So that's how Gunther got the win.
He first did a he did 3 moves. He did a power bomb. He did a lariat to end it. I forgot what else he did, but yeah, it was a very New Japan like ending. Like that was basically like a Japanese ending to a match. So, which was fantastic.
Afterwards, Chad Gable's family was in front row, and his daughter was in tears. She was. You say good?
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Jesus Christ. And then Gunther, of course, showing a sign of respect to Gable, leaves the ring, and now Gunther is the all-time record holder, I guess, for the longest Intercontinental Championship, or Intercontinental Champion of all time, passing Honky Tonk Man. So Gunther's the man, wrestler of the year, in my opinion. Rest of the show, Jey Uso came out, being the new member of Raw. Sami Zayn came out to kind of welcome him to Raw, and they're having a nice little conversation. As Sami's walking away, Jay says, "That wouldn't be very Uso of me, right?" And they hug each other, and the whole place goes nuts. So, rest of the show, Jay's kind of going back and forth, and he even has a nice little moment. He has a moment with Dom, where Dom offers to bring him into the Judgment Day, telling him, hey, we both have issues with our families, and no one seems to like you. So, how's about you join the Judgment Day? And Jay says, "I'll think about it." So, might get her.
So let's touch on that point real quick. So I'm a conspiracy theorist, as probably everyone knows here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask a question. So Jay, and we kind of forget to mention about when Jay was going to the back. He bumped into Riddle. He bumped into Drew McIntyre. And obviously, they had their issues from before, during last year or whatnot. And Jay is not getting acceptance from the Raw locker room. Do you think that WWE is telling us the story, not directly, obviously, of the whole CM Punk back in AEW thing, where the locker room didn't want to accept him?
I don't really know if that's the case, because I honestly didn't think of it that way. I just thought of it as like everyone's pissed. Everyone's not going to accept Jay because the bloodline fucked with mostly everyone on that locker room. Well,
yeah, that's like the obvious story, but it's like, oh man, we don't want you here, and like with the whole trade, like everyone's gonna be pissed. Everyone's gonna be pissed when they find out who got traded. And it's like, oh well, it's kind of like, oh, everyone got pissed when Cody left AEW too. It was like, oh, I don't know. Hey, I don't know. Maybe that's just my wild mind thinking. So I don't know.
But so who do you think gets traded to SmackDown?
Obviously Cody. Everyone's talking about Cody. Yes, that makes the most sense, and that's what I want to happen. That's what I want to happen. Let's not talk about Cody, right? Because that's probably what's going to happen. Let's just have some conspiracy theories out there. What about Randy Orton? Make his return on SmackDown. That'll be pretty cool. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it is going to be Cody, and it should be Cody, because I don't want Cody to win the Royal Rumble. Again, it should be someone else. You can just have Cody on SmackDown, just challenge Roman. That'll just be the way to do it. Or win the Elimination Chamber, however they want to do it. But, maybe Randy. That'll be pretty cool.
I don't know. I think it would make more sense for Randy to be on Raw, just so he can maybe reunite with Riddle or go against Drew. I don't know. But I think...
if Randy's on Raw, he needs to be a heel. He doesn't need to be big. If he's on Raw, he needs to be a heel.
Drew's probably going to end up being a heel.
Yeah, you can have 2 heels.
Yeah, but then Randy's going to want retribution when Drew eventually beats the shit out of Riddle. So,
yeah. Does Randy have to care about Riddle? I mean, I know they were tag team partners.
He probably. What do I know? But
I mean, he's the Viper after all. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "Hey, Randy," and he'll just kick him in the head, like, "You're my friend today." Everyone's just beating up Riddle.
Randy. I don't know. That could happen. But yeah, I think Cody's definitely going to SmackDown. Let's see. Ricochet versus Nakamura. Where the fuck has Ricochet been since fucking SummerSlam? But whatever. Ricochet wins by DQ. And then Seth comes out to kind of continue this feud. And they both fight on the ramp. So that continues that feud.
Do
JD?
you think that eventually we'll get a Ricochet Seth Rollins feud for the title?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it'd be a fun match. And, you know, Ricochet is, again, he's good. He's improved a lot, you know, in the past few months. So, hey, why not? Give Ricochet, throw Ricochet a bone. J.E. McDonough presents a new Money in the Bank case to Damien that says Senior Money in the Bank. So now JD is all
and
but...
it has our high school colors on it too, so
awesome.
that's what I was like, oh, it's high school colors. Yeah, pop for that.
So it looks like JD is going to be slowly joining Judgment Day. So we'll see.
Good.
The rest of the show is kind of a blur. Shayna Baszler versus Joe.
Well, I want to throw something at you real quick. Since we're still on the Judgment Day thing and JD joining. So JD McDonough is most likely joining. Right? I think it's kind of a for sure thing at this point. So that means you'll have 4 male members and 1 female member in Judgment Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Currently, right now, Judgment Day is in control of Raw. Okay. I see something happening with Judgment Day going into Survivor Series, and I'm thinking they're going to be in the War Games.
Mm-hmm.
Want to ask you this:
Mm.
Who on the babyface side, if it's a 4-on-4 match, you got J.E. McDonough, Dom, Finn, and Damien. Who would you want on the babyface side, or who do you think that WWE will put on the babyface side?
It's more than likely going to be Jay, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. As far as who the fourth is going to be, that's going to be tough. Because I would think it'd be Cody, but I think Cody's probably going to go to SmackDown, so I don't know about that. It's going to be in Chicago, so I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much of what do you call it? The well-wishing kind of person. I don't know. Maybe it'll be CM Punk. Maybe not. But
no, God, no, I don't want that.
I don't fucking know. I don't know who that fourth babyface would be.
I have a crazy conspiracy theory, as always. I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens definitely will be there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The other two, and at first I was thinking maybe Cody and Seth, but if Cody's going to SmackDown, that's probably not going to happen. What about Tommaso Ciampa and Giant Gargano with DIY? And they have a feud with the tag team championships, and eventually get the tag team championships off of Damien and Finn. And that's up their alley too. And think about it this way too. They will join Sammy and Damien. I'm sorry, Sammy and Damien. Jesus Christ. Sammy and Kevin, who were also in NXT, and also Damien and JD were also in NXT as well. But they can make that call out to them as vets of the War Games match.
Here's the thing, and I don't say this as an insult. That seems more like a match that would have happened in NXT War Games. As far as like Survivor Series War Games, I don't see that happening.
You don't think that Triple H wants to try to create new stars with this match this year?
I think Triple H would want to do it because Triple H loves Gargano and Ciampa. Ow, shit, I just hit my knee. And yeah, he definitely wants to create new stars, but that's the key word, new stars. Would Gargano and Ciampa be new stars?
If they're built up correctly, yeah, you can create anybody. You can create anybody.
Again, I, in my opinion, I don't see that match happening at a Survivor Series War Games. Just my opinion. I wouldn't mind it. I'm not saying I would hate it. I'm just saying I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I because you gotta think about this way. Ciampa went into Adam Pearce's office on Monday. And obviously, I think that's possibly to get Gargano. Like, hey, we need to talk, whatever. I think that has something to do with Gargano. And if they're going to be the new tag team just 2 months away from Survivor Series, I think that's probably going to end up being possibly a match that they can end up doing, or they have them involved in the Survivor Series match. Wishful thinking, but outside of that, I really don't see anybody else that would make sense. Okay, let's say you had Jey Uso in there. Okay, great. To me, I don't really think Jey mixing with obviously I can see Jey. Actually, I see Jey mixing in there because I think that maybe Jay's first few, him and Kevin Owens, that could be something, and maybe they end up liking each other or whatever. But it's just kind of hard to find that fourth babyface. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think DIY is a good idea, built properly, going into November. I think that'll be a good idea. So,
right. The rest of the show was up and down. You had Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark. Shayna Baszler got the win, which doesn't really make sense since you're trying to build Zoe Stark, but whatever. Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. Raquel got the win. And then JD McDonough versus Sami Zayn. Decent back and forth match. JD in the win after Dominic interfered. And yeah, we already talked about the main event. But overall, what'd you think about Raw?
Other than the opening and the main event was fantastic. Loved it. Yeah, boring show.
Yeah, it was an up and down show.
It was just like any other show. Boring show.
It was very much a main event show. We'll just put it. Well, I'll put it like that.
No, main event was fan. Yeah, it was a nothing show. I love the beginning. I love the story that they're gonna be telling with Jay. I love that. I am just not too sure about everything else. The main event was fantastic though.
Right.
Great.
And now we got NXT. NXT opened with the Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Kiana James. This is kind of an odd match.
It was super short.
Yeah, it was really short. It was short and it was a really odd match. Because you have two heels in there, and it just, I don't know. It was a surprisingly short match, but Stratton getting the win, and Stratton addressed. Not Stratton. She didn't address, but Becky Lynch came out on screen and said, I'll take you up on your offer, and I'll face you next week for the NXT Women's Championship. To which Stratton accepted.
Which you called, by the way. And I was like, oh, no. So, yeah, you called that one.
I don't mean to brag, but, yeah, I did call it. But, yeah, so Stratton and Becky Lynch next week on what looks like a pretty packed episode of NXT. But
I'll say this about Becky Lynch real quick. WWE does not know what to do with Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair if it doesn't involve titles.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Which is terrible.
I think that's more so with Charlotte because
no, Becky too for the most part. I mean, it's either that or she's feuding with a top name. How come Becky can't feud with like a Candice LeRae or Andy Hartwell or someone in the mid card to start building them up? You do. I mean, you don't. Obviously, you're not going to lose them, but get them involved and start showcasing some of the other ladies. It's
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but it's just I think with Charlotte that's more of the case. Well, more so for Charlotte.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But, so do you think Becky's winning this?
She better not.
Would you be?
She better not. Here's my thing. And she may win. what does this do for her? Other than an accolade, I won the NXT title. What does this do for her? It doesn't raise her stock whatsoever.
Nope.
It will hurt Tiffany's stock a little bit, not a lot. Obviously, it's not like, oh, Tiffany, she's a boss, nothing like that. But it will hurt Tiffany's stock a little bit as well. Who would take the title off of Becky at this point? Will Tiffany get it back? I mean, because you got a very, like, the women's division down in NXT is fucking fantastic. But, like, you got Tiffany, I mean, Blair Davenport. If this get the title on Blair Davenport, and okay, I'm good with that. I'm cool with that, because I think Blair Davenport's probably really the only legitimate one that can really give Becky a run for her money. But everyone else, I love Thea Hale, no. Roxanne, no. Lyra Valkyria, no. You know what I mean? Ava, no. You know what I mean? Kalani, Jordan, no. It's like, you know what I mean? Really, the only one that's credible will probably be Blair Davenport. So, I don't want Becky to win.
It wouldn't surprise me if they put it on Becky.
It wouldn't surprise me. I just don't want it to happen.
I mean, I don't want it to happen either, because I like Tiffany, and I think Tiffany is doing such a fucking great job. So, if I had to guess, there's gonna be some fuckery.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's gonna be some shenanigans here. I honestly, it'll be better if, like, someone like Blair Davenport, or probably her, come out, distracts, and maybe that can lead a regular one-on-one match between Blair Davenport and Becky at the next NXT pay-per-view. I'll be cool with that. I'll be totally fine with that. That's cool with me. But Becky doesn't need to win the title. So let's say Becky wins the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have half of your titles being held by main roster people.
Yep. I mean,
and again, I mentioned that NXT is for the guys that need, it's the youth movement. It's for people who need that TV time. You're gonna take away. You're using Becky to take away that TV time. You're gonna use Dom to take away that TV time from some of the other mid card guys on there as well. And Dom, I'm a little bit less. I'm a little bit more lenient on it, because it's like,
easy on
it gives him that extra practice, because he's still trying to get better in the ring. But Becky's well established at this point. She doesn't need this shit. It won't do anything for her. Just like how when Charlotte won the NXT title and killed Rhea Ripley for a few years before Rhea Ripley joined the Judgment Day, Ripley was going nowhere before she just joined the Judgment Day. But when she was NXT champion, she was the highest woman on the whole entire WWE roster, no matter what brand it was on. And Charlotte killed it. I don't want the same thing to happen to Tiffany Stratton.
No. I'm hoping there's some fuckery. Like, maybe there's something that happens on Raw that, ends up, being influenced by what happens on Tuesday. So, hopefully that's the case. But, because Tiffany needs this momentum, like, more than Becky. Next is you have Ilya Dragunov versus Oro Mensah. Decent match. Dragunov getting the win. Dragunov is, just good and great in everything he does.
He's incredible. I love him.
Yeah, love him. Him and Gunther are my top two for wrestler of the year. Yeah, just how I feel. Global Heritage Invitational. Nathan Frazier versus Duke Hudson. Frazier getting the win. Good match. Can't really complain too much.
I mean, Nathan Frazier. I mean, like, give him a couple years, man. He's gonna be incredible. I mean, he's incredible already, but just like everything that he's doing, and I really like this G1 tournament. It's just what it is. It's a mini G1 tournament with half of the participants that NXT is doing. So I'm all for it, man. It's just great stuff.
Tyler Bate versus Dabba-Kato. Tyler Bate getting the win after swinging Dabba-Kato, being the big strong boy that he is. So
big strong boy.
Yep, big strong boy. Number one contenders match: Mustafa Ali versus Dragon Lee, to determine who will be the number one contender for the North American champion. Dominic being the special referee. There's a nice bit in the bag where he's reading the referee's manual and going, "This doesn't apply to me," and just throws it away. And has his own Judgment Day colored referee shirt,
which looked terrible, by the way.
Along with the skinniest jeans I've ever seen. in my life. Oh boy. But the match was good, but Dom ends up for some reason counting faster when Ali got the pin because he doesn't want to face Dragon Lee. So Ali is the number one contender for the North American Championship. Afterwards, Ali beats up Dom because he didn't want to win that way. So it's going to be Ali and Dom at the pay-per-view, I'm assuming.
Yay! Main roster match. Main roster match. That's going to be on NXT pay-per-view. I think Dragon Lee is probably gonna. I think he's probably still gonna end up getting that title for Dom. I think they're telling that story right now. He's just trying to avoid Dragon Lee as much as possible. So I don't know. We'll see.
Global Heritage Invitational, Butch versus Axiom. Pretty good match.
Really good match, yeah.
These two are really fucking good. Butch, I was never nuts about him. I've started to kind of turn the corner on him. He's really fucking good. Axiom is really fucking good, and this was a nice match to watch.
I mean, the two guys that wrestled each other on NXT UK, Pete Dunne and A-Kid, and, went to a draw. I love that. So, draw, and that's why I love about, like, the round robin tournaments and G1s, because, like, a draw is still a win because you still get points, because if you lose, you don't get shit. You know what I mean? So a draw, it's not what you want, but at least you're getting points. So pretty good shit.
And Thea Hale continuing to hang out with JC Jane. JC Jane being a bad influence on Thea Hale. Now she's wearing black lipstick. Like, Jesus Christ.
She's turning to Julia Hart, baby. She's turning to Julia Hart. So
pretty soon she's gonna be smoking and listening to
yeah. So she's like wearing like this different makeup now, and she looks older. Like it's kind of weird. Like little makeup makes you look older, but yeah, man, I'm liking this little slow transition to her turning into a heel. So, God, man, I love NXT, man. Like it's not the best wrestling, it's not the best storytelling, but they do all the stuff in like within mainstream wrestling good enough. You know what I mean? And that makes me love it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm just loving what they're doing with it right now for sure.
And Gigi Dolan comes in to try and be the voice of reason, and that leads to a match with Gigi and Thea Hale. And Gigi just looking cakealicious as always. That's a word I just invented. Cakealicious. Which ends with Thea Hale getting the win after Blair Davenport attacked Gigi for some reason, and Thea got the win by submission. So
because Blair Davenport was backstage too during that segment and kind of had a little face to face with Gigi. So yeah.
Now we're on to the main event, which I'm pretty sure is your match of the century.
So this match here, I'll be honest. I'm gonna break kayfabe here for a second. This match was the best goddamn thing I ever seen in my fucking life. It was amazing.
Oh man, and that would be Braun Breaker versus Von Wagner. In a no disqualification street fight, whatever you want to call it. And this was fun to watch. Baron Corbin was on commentary. It was a fun match. It was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
He didn't get involved. He didn't get involved too, which is good. So
I thought that was funny, just him talking shit on commentary. And there was a bit where I almost call him Kali Von Wagner throws Braun Breaker through that giant NXT symbol thing. Yeah. And the whole place went nuts. That was pretty fun. And then he puts Breaker through a table like he promised he would come Tuesday, like he likes to say. As he's going for the final touch, Braun Breaker low blows him, which I'm like, come on, just give Von Wagner something, just throw him a bone here. And Breaker gets the win. Afterwards, Breaker beats the shit out of Wagner and crushes his head with the steel steps.
He's dead, man.
Which they don't even show. They just black out and you just hear Vic Morrow Well, not Vic Morrow. That was an actor. Who?
I said Vic Morrow.
Yeah, that was an actor. I'm sorry. That was the actor that got decapitated in the Twilight Zone movie. No, Vic. Vic, whatever his fucking name is. Vic going, you son of a bitch! Vic Joseph. Vic Joseph. Thank you, Maurice. Fuck. Bron Breakker is now a wanted man for killing or trying to kill Von Wagner.
He's really turning to Scott Steiner.
Yeah, he just needs a tiger. But
Jesus Christ, that was shocking. I wasn't expecting that, Indy.
But do you think? Because again, I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist, kind of like you, for a little bit. So let's say next week, because apparently I don't know if this was real. I don't know because apparently on NXT there's been a warrant issued for Bron Breakker's arrest. Mm-hmm. Do you think next week this coincides with Shawn Michaels, who's the GM of NXT, telling Bron Breakker, "I've had enough of you. You're gone from NXT. You're banned. You're never welcome back here." And that's what, and that's how you get Bron Breakker on the main roster.
He's gonna get him off NXT maybe for a while. I don't know, but yeah, I think it could be like, hey, you're fired from NXT or whatever, and maybe it'll get him to the main roster. But they should have done this if that was gonna happen, they should have done this at pay-per-view. And you know what I mean, like as like a the final segment of a random NXT on a Tuesday. Like I would have saved that moment for a pay-per-view. So maybe he'll be off of a TV for a little bit, maybe until the pay-per-view. Maybe have him go up against somebody. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I at this point, I don't want to see Bron Breakker lose another match, unless if it's against someone big time. But to be honest, there's no one on NXT else that he should face. He should be on the main roster. The only person, I'll give you one person, the only person that he should face and possibly lose to, so that way this guy gets put over immediately, Brian Pillman Jr.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only person I may want to see. Outside of that, like, there's really nothing else for Braun to do on this roster.
But our thoughts and prayers are with Von Wagner.
Well, actually, I should send him 5 letters and a bouquet of chocolates.
Did you also send him that mixtape you were telling me about?
No. I'm saving that when he's gonna conquer India. He's gonna conquer India. Like, he's gonna defeat Roman Reigns in India. Like,
he's gonna defeat Roman Reigns. He's gonna go back in time and defeat Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Yeah, and Bruno Sammartino. Like, it's gonna be, like, want to leave. It's gonna be great.
Love it. But those are the shows. That's everything. That's all the news that we had planned for this. Do you have any ratings?
No. The whole CM Punk stuff, like it. I didn't want to go through all that.
All right,
we'll be back to regular scale unless something else happens this fucking week. I don't, something may happen this week to where that. But yeah, no, we'll get back to ratings and stuff next week. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. But that's the show, people. Next Saturday will be the Q&A. Will be the Q&A show of September. So if you haven't already, please send in your questions. If you have, send in more questions if you want. Make this fun, and just make the questions fun. We love doing these Q&A shows. But yeah, man. Thank you to the Wrestling Soup Discord. Thank you to Mish for giving me this platform. Shout out to Mish, of course. Shout out to Wrestling Soup, Joe Numbers. Shout out to Breaking the Apocalypse with John Draper. Let's see, Bisho Bryan and Shaheen. They just had their 3rd year anniversary, so shout out to them. Shout out to Jeff Lippman and the 45 other shows that he has, primarily Hammerlock Hangover, Garden of Views, Garden of Doom, and our Patreon show that we do together. So shout out to him. And of course our boys RJ, Ruben Prime, Monty, and of course I just said Jeff Lippman. And shout out to everybody that supports us, and support the Patreon. It's only $5 a month. It gets you shows I do with RJ, Ruben, and Jeff, which I just did one with Jeff. So listen to that if you haven't already. And yeah, this show you can find anywhere. You can find it anywhere where podcasts are distributed, like Google Podcasts, iTunes. You can watch it on YouTube, not technically, but you know what I mean. And that's really about it, people. And we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming, same time as always next week, and of course the Patreon, the Q&A show. So, but tell the people where they can find you, Justin.
Of course, you guys know where to find me. I am on Instagram, SpinebusterTees on Instagram, SpinebusterTees.com. Pick yourself up a t-shirt, get it shipped to you. It takes about a week to get it shipped to you. Take advantage of the end of the summer sale. I got to put the fall sale up. I'll probably do that immediately after this. But yeah, take advantage of that. And also, if you're ever in San Antonio, Texas, at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall, Spinebuster Tees inside the little shops. Come and see me, where we have over 300 action figures, 200 different Funko Pops, T-shirts, socks, hats, trading cards, autograph 8x10s, old school magazines, lucha mask. I got it all. So it's definitely an experience where you come in. So that's what I wanted to make. So, but if y'all have any questions, just hit me up on IG.
Yes, sir. And on that note, we're done for the night. And I got to get up early. So
yeah, you can work tomorrow.
Absolutely. And Justin, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. And have a good night, and peace out.
Peace.